setup here. Alright, let's see. But I hope you are doing well. I'm doing pretty good. I had an interesting outing yesterday. I was having dinner with my mom, and we stopped by a Target just to browse. And funny enough, they kind of had Switch 2s on the shelf. I've been looking into them just because, one, I like to have things as future-proof as possible, and the original Switch models, including the OLED, only have 2 years more of support, and the Switch 2 also has a Mario Kart that kind of intrigues me just because it's easier for me to use, kind of thing. Because with Mario Kart 8, it's fun, but I have a hard time using items optimally. And but even though Target had the Switch 2, I didn't really get it at all. Because they didn't have everything I was looking for. Like, I wanted a separate dock, a case which they had, a separate charging cable which they had, and screen protector. But they didn't have the most important thing, which was the dock, so that I could stream such games to you guys. But it was kind of funny that they had it. As for today's question of the day, teleportation or flying, kind of a hard thing. But I would say maybe teleportation. Alright, there we go. But yeah, teleportation would be my thing to choose. Simply because it would be faster than that, but at the same time, when I think about it, I think of Kuroko and her other fellow teleporters, and some of them don't make it to level 4 in the Reldex universe. Because they end up putting themselves in walls and such, so it depends on how the teleportation ability works. But flying might scare me a bit. Okay, there we go with that. But yeah, it's just kind of funny that I saw the Switch there and Switch to it in Target shelves. To me, as I was saying before, because Best Buy doesn't carry them, but you can order them online. So they're a lot easier to get these days, I'd assume. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Nothing of that. So there we go. Wait, who knows when I'll get it? I have to get presents for family soon enough. And I might just make it easy on myself in that area. The only annoying thing is some of the gift ideas I've got for family, I've gotta wait a while to get one of them. Because Amazon won't let you do the things that I do for pre-orders. Let's see, better check on this. Make sure it doesn't go dark. And then we'll do that. Alright. Okay. Now then, since I got the link shared out, I am going to take this opportunity to go get a drink, and then I will get the game up and we can get things started officially. While I am gone, you guys can answer today's question of the day. If you don't see it, the command in the title of the stream while I'm live should present it to you, and I will check on that too when I get back. So, be right back. Alright, I'm back and it looks like I didn't miss anything, so I'm gonna switch inputs, get the game up, and then we'll be ready to start. Oh, darn it. Guess this'll take a bit. Alright, there we go. Not too long at all. Just wasn't that happy about that happening. But yeah, I don't like how a lot of times my consoles want an update when I want to play. That's kind of another thing I miss about the PlayStation 2 and earlier things. But here we are. Good morning, everyone. How are you all doing? I'm doing good, aside from that update thing and annoyance I had to deal with, but I'm just excited to get into this. Now, last time we had somebody claim that they were a snake, even though our pro tag is the snake in this round. So, we now have to survive against the liar. And I might have to go back and get the other keys from the first investigation. But we'll see how things play out here. Let's see, Shinai-san's guardians are... We passed through the mist and walked toward the graveyard. 5 prepare for the feast when the evening mists arrived. Everyone was singing prayer to Shinai. Shinai-san's guardians are... I couldn't tell who had started it or when they did so. 8 Death of the Damned Yomobito is the mandate. The sobbing mixed with the singing made it seem like an old funeral, but it was actually an execution. Painfully slow, we walked through the path leading to the cliff next to the Saranaga. I was already used to this, thanks to all the cleanups. 7 The corrupt Yomobito rise to oppose the mountain. Before I knew it, even Mamiya-san and I had joined the singing, creating a perfect unity in the group. Eventually, we reached our destination. It was downhill beyond the trees, wet with dew, and a grass field covered in stones, making the lives of those who used to live here. No, marking the lives of those who used to live here. Strangely enough, the aged pine tree right at the end could be seen easily despite the mist. As we stopped, so did the song in emotion. Nosada-sama. Nosada-sama, forgive me for my powerlessness. There is nothing to forgive. He gave me a glance. You have to protect Rikako-san. That was all he said. I understand. I didn't actually want to say that. It didn't sound like he simply meant to protect her for the rest of the feast when he said that. But the survivors had the obligations to honor the dead's last wishes. Are you sure of this? Yes. Yes, to have you push my back has been a long cherished ambition of mine. Rise not. Rise not. And then, Kinosuke's body fell to the bottom of the misty cliff, and the hanging rope stopped due to the fatal impact. He let out a horrifying death wail. Afterwards, we all returned to the dining hall where Kaori-san and I served a light lunch while time passed by. Everyone tried to act as normal as possible. They tried to convince themselves that Kinosuke shouldn't have been in Yasumizu in the first place, so his absence was only natural. However, it was clear that they felt guilty for committing murder. Killing someone no one liked and talking as though none of it had ever happened was a horrible group mentality. But that was the truth of the Feast of Yomi Purge. It was kill or be killed, and unfortunately, it was next to impossible to finish the feast without wasting a life. I chatted away with the others, with those thoughts in my mind as a certain concern ate away at me. As much as I felt bad about it, I didn't kill Kinosuke. And I made the wrong move in the end. And I let someone who should have been purged live so I could save myself. No, that didn't mean this was a failure. There was a high chance my fears were unfounded. I was overthinking things. I knew I was, but for some reason, I felt the presence of beasts. I couldn't help but feel that. Who knows? I'm not good at reasons, but well. When Takumi said he was the snake, I had a bad feeling come over me. Huh? Oh, it felt like I could hear the wolves laughing. I don't remember this conversation happening. I felt like I now understood that feeling. Had I fallen right into their trap? That worry plagued me all the way through dinner and bedtime. If Hisako Momiya's false declaration was a suicidal attack meant to weed out the real snake, then there was a chance she'd be coming for me despite knowing she'd be the prime suspect for sure the next day. In that case, which of the two snakes would the spider protect? Right now, there were two self-proclaimed snakes. Should I have tried to crush Hisako Momiya even if it meant getting a little too desperate and being suspected by the others as a result? No, it was okay. If I was right about Meiko being the spider and Rikako-san controlling her, then Rikako-san would surely protect me. If it was between Momiya-san and I, she'd definitely choose me. Those thoughts bounced back and forth from lunch, all the way until I drowsily wrote someone's name down and put it under my pillow. And then I lost consciousness. In the end, I never woke up. Guess that figures. After all, only the spider themselves knew what they were thinking. The wolves must have aimed their claws at me, taking the risk that the spider hadn't chosen me. And they'd won their bet, so that was that. I couldn't even tell if that was what I thought when I died. It was all so vague. I lay there in a comatose slumber, and it wasn't there my life met its end and faded into the mist that covered all. So that was definitely the end. Bad ending 13. Alright. Watch the hint corner. Yes, I think I will.
やっちまったな大将。
You've done it now, eh, Chief?
ついにロミーミの宴に本格参戦だ。こっからは厳しい戦いになるぜ。気合い入れてヒント聞いてけな。
You're finally participating in the Feast of the Omi Purge fair and square. It's gonna get rough from here on out, so chin up and listen to the hint.
今回のバッドエンド13、題して正直者が損をして死亡についてだが、
Bad ending 13. Honesty is not always a virtue, you
大
death.
将はもしや人狼ゲームのセオリーに忠実に従った結果、ここに来たかもしれねえな。
You may have gotten this one for faithfully following basic werewolf strategy.
人は嘘をつかない。ここでは間宮久子が偽物なのは明白だから、ちゃんと名乗り出るべきだってな。
Humans don't lie, so you thought you should reveal your guardian and expose Hisako Mamiya as a
そ
fraud.
りゃその通りだ。
That's not wrong,
し
however.
っかり覚えておいてくれ。これは実はチーム戦じゃねえ。
You have to remember that you're not playing with an actual
人狼
team.
ゲームだとチームの勝利のために自分が死ぬって選択が許されるが、久石春明は死んだら戻る。
In Werewolf, it's okay to choose to sacrifice yourself if it means your team wins, but Haruaki Fusaishi loops back when he dies. He can't go past this.
今回は久石春明が危惧してたように、狼側の罠って降参が大きい。
Just as he feared,
選択もやむなしってことだ。
just as he feared, there's a high chance this was a trap by the wolves. They had no other options but to make a selfish
ぶっ
choice.
ちゃけ言えば、5、7の9、過去の開示はで適切な選択肢を選ぶこと。
So I'll just be blunt here. Go to 5 wit, reveal guardian, and make the appropriate choice.
つうわけで、今回はここまで。次も元気に死んでこい。
Well, that's all for this time. Die another hearty death next time. Alright, so I made a bad choice there.
だってわけだ。次はもっとうまくやれ。
But I'm liking how they do this, that
羊が2匹。
the sensible thing isn't always the correct option. But I think I'm gonna need more keys. So go here. Okay, so this is the one that we needed to deal with, I believe. Okay, we know who Akumi is. So let's definitely do all 3 of these first. Okay. I wrote down one of their names and placed the paper next to my pillow and went to sleep. Okay. So he was human. Okay, just another key there. And then we are gonna go back again once this day transitions. Back to here because we've got only one more. see. I wrote down one of their names and placed the paper next to my pillow and went to sleep. Okay. Now we got all the keys from this one. Truth of the Journalist, you can view it in the keys list. The route unlocked by this key is represented by the same number on the scenario chart. Okay, so we got all the keys now. Now let's go to where they said. Okay, so go here. Best option. Since I was the real Snake, she was definitely a fake who was clearly talking with ill intent. That meant I had to out myself, otherwise she would take control of this situation. That was the right thing to do. The right way to go about it. I knew that well. But I couldn't help but feel that I was in an extremely difficult situation here. Hold on, guys. I want to see how I can do this. So, there it is. So let's see what keys I've got. Okay, I got that one. I don't have number 3, but I got those guys. I don't have 8 or 9, but I do have those guys, so I've still got plenty to deal with. But I'm making good progress. Let's see, but I couldn't help but feel that I was in an extremely difficult situation here. So, this one turned out to be the wrong way, even though that was technically what Haruaki would normally be thinking. So let's go ahead and say not reveal it and see what happens here. I didn't find it reasonable whatsoever, but I decided to keep quiet.
それじゃあ、間宮久子さんが本物の蛇だと仮定して進めますが。
Then let us continue under the assumption that Hisako Mamiya-san is the real Snake. What do you mean, assumption?
あなたを疑う理由があるとすれば、さっきチエネーが言ったように、その喧嘩腰ですよ。
If there is a reason to doubt you, it would be as Chiene pointed out, your belligerence.
間宮さんはずっと冷静だったじゃないですか。一体どうしたんです？
You were so calm all this time. What happened?
こんな状況で冷静になれる？朝起きたら腹に血で文字が書いてあるのよ。どう考えても怪奇現象でしょ。
How can I stay calm in a situation like this? I woke up to blood text on my stomach. It's a supernatural phenomenon.
しかもそれでこうして完全に善人面してる人がいるって知ったのよ。冷静になれるわけないでしょ。
And now I used it to find out that one of us here is acting all innocent. There's no way I can stay calm.
この大嘘つきがこれだから若いもんは町のもんは
You liar. This is why you youngins from the city are just... What did the others think about this exchange? You're saying the old hag's a wolf?
そうよ。さっきから言ってるでしょ。
Yes, how many times do I have to say it?
ちゃんとまともに返事しろよ。てめえは狼なんですか?
Old hag, you better think of a good answer to this. Are you a wolf?
義継、このバカがもうダメじゃ。向こうはみんな読み人じゃ。
Yoshitsugu, you fool! That's it, the youngins are all Yomobito. You might be a granny, but I want to punch you in the face right now.
ああ？分かった、もういいぜ。
Alright, that's enough.
タエバ、そんなん言わないでよ。ヨシ君も何煽ってるの？
Taiba, don't say that. And Yoshi-kun, why are you provoking her?
昨日俺はこのババアに一票入れられてもうちょいで死にそうだったんだぜ。そりゃ怪しいだろうがよ。
She voted for me yesterday and I almost died because of it. That's just shady.
よしつぐ、お前いい加減にしろよ。つうかあんたもいきなり何なんだ。そんなばあさま捕まえて金切り声でよ。
Yoshisugu, you better cut it out. And what's up with you, lady? Why are you shrieking, cornering an old woman like that?
あなたにはわからないわよ。
You wouldn't understand. Oh, this is awful.
あれ、おい、ちょっといいか。全員冷静になれ。狭いところだができるだけ離れてしばらく黙って頭冷やすぞ。
Crap, hey people, cool off for a sec. There's not much space here, but let's sit as far away from each other as you can and calm down.
おやっさん、
That alright with you, old man? Old man Makishima looked around the circle. Settle down or you're getting punched. I like that attitude, Konzo. That's how I feel right now. That was enough to bring absolute silence to the room. However, that made certain negative emotions stand out. They came out as throats clearing or sighs among other things. Still, the silence helped people cool off, or at least it helped me. For better or worse, I knew for certain that she was a fake. And right now I had to act accordingly, but I didn't really know what that entailed. To declare that she was a fake snake, I had to declare I was the real one. However, that meant making myself a target for the wolves. What would I do then? There would be two possible snakes, Isako Mamiya and I doubted we would be hanged right then and there. They'd probably have us investigate someone and see who is telling the truth, but I would probably be killed during that process. Oh, the Yomi team was using Mamiya-san as bait to draw out the real snake. That was the most likely scenario. However, this felt kinda unnatural though. Why did Mamiya-san claim the role? She was an outsider who had no affinity for the old stories or loyalty for the village. Drawing attention to herself like that was a dangerous move. It was even worse for her since she'd come out as a snake before anyone died, meaning there was absolutely no chance the real snake was out of the game. Then, perhaps it meant that... Enough. After 30 minutes, Kanza-san resumed the feast. Uematsu were voting. What?
カンちゃん、私は人よ。
Kan-chan, I'm human.
狼ですよ。
You're a wolf.
あんたはまた。
You again?
肝臓さん、票を取る前にもう一つ確認しておかないといけないことがある。
Kanzo-san, before we vote, there's something I'd like to hear.
久石春明さんの今日開示するといった情報の内容です。
Haruaki Fusaishi-san said that he would have some new information for us. So he remembered. However, I decided not to reveal that I was the snake this time. It might have helped the humans, but I felt I had to keep it hidden to ensure my own survival. Thus, I had to think of some nonsense. We were given a lot of time though, so I already had more than enough ready.
まず、残念ながら僕はここで明かすだけで自分の潔白を証明できるような情報をまだ持ってません。
First of all, I still don't have enough information to prove my innocence, unfortunately.
僕は間宮さんよりも場に貢献できないこととなった。そのことはお詫びしたいと思います。
That means I'm less capable of contributing than Manya-san, and I would like to make up for that.
それは何の過去も持っていないという意味だと考えてよろしいかね。
Can I assume that means you don't have a guardian?
当然のご判断かと。
Seems like the obvious assumption. Say it clear.
僕には特別な力はありません。
I have no special powers. With those words, I was also a liar.
僕を生かしてもらえるならできる限りのことを皆さんのためにします。
However, if you let me live, I will do what I can to help you all.
そりゃあ昨日も聞いた。
You said that yesterday. Unlike the first time, Konzo-san seemed kinda interested in what I had to say. Of course, he probably threw me out the moment he felt I overstepped myself.
僕は戦略を提示できます。
I can provide you with strategic advice. Like,
タエさんも間宮さんもくくらない。
wait, don't hang Tai-san or Mamiya-san. Why Mamiya-san? Because we knew the first time through going here when she admitted that she was a snake that she was a wolf. And we also got confirmation when I did the other two options I didn't get in the initial investigation. So this is having me curious about why he wants to keep those two, although he also doesn't want to out himself either. So it kind of makes sense.
もし山脇多江さんが狼の一員だったとして、おそらくはその陰謀の中心人物ではないと思うんです。
If Yamawaki-san was a wolf, I doubt she is the brain behind their tactics.
だから私は違う言うて。
I said I'm no wolf.
仮の話です。一方で、もし間宮さんが蛇じゃなかったとすれば、
It's a what if now. If Mamiya-san isn't the snake,
決まってるでしょ。他に誰も出なかったんだから。
of course I am. No one else came out.
ここで皆さんに確認したいんですが、
Now I'd like to ask
このゲーム
something.
失礼、読み意味の宴で狼が能動的に生き残るにはカゴ持ちを詐称するしかないですよね。
To actively survive this game, sorry, I mean the feast, the wolves have to pretend to have guardians, right?
その通りです。
Yes.
狼は基本的に受動的に疑われないことを期待して動くでしょうが、それだと蛇にいつかは引っかかる。
The wolves generally stay passive and lay low to avoid raising suspicion, but that eventually tips them off to the
それで
snake.
疑われた時に自分は人だと喧伝しても効果はありません。
Once suspicions are raised, simply claiming to be human is no longer good enough.
その瞬間に何か他のカゴ者を名乗ってもとても嘘くさい。だから適当な時に自分からカゴ者を名乗るのが有効。
Declaring yourself to have a guardian at that moment would seem like a lie too, which is why doing it at a random time is far more effective.
先に名乗ってしまえば後から誰かが名乗ったとしても逆にそっちが嘘くさくなりますからね。
If you claim to have a guardian first, then anyone that came after would seem like the liar.
何を根拠に。
What's your basis for that?
客観的な話ですよ。だからこの場で間宮さんが確定で蛇だってことにはならない。
I'm being objective, that's why it's not certain that you are the snake.
仮に間宮さんが偽物で狼がすでにあなたは他の二人から切られてるってことになりますし。
If you really are a fake, it means the other two wolves have already cut you off.
待って、勝手に話を進めないで。どういうことなのよ、いきなり。
Don't just go off talking like that. What's that supposed to mean?
あなたが前面に出たということは、あなたが場をかき乱している間に他の狼が手を進めるという作戦。
While you're making a mess of the feast in the front lines, the other wolves are doing work on their own.
おそらく その作戦を考えた人はあなたじゃないし、もっと注意深く潜伏しているはず。
It probably wouldn't have been your idea in that case, and they're using your distraction to avoid drawing suspicion to themselves.
あなたが場を乱そうとするのを無視できれば、あなたの脅威は潜伏してる他の狼ほど大きくない。
That's why if we can ignore you as you make a mess of things, it means you wouldn't be as dangerous as the wolves still hiding.
そんなことくだらない。私は本物のヘビなんだから。
That's nonsense. I'm the real snake.
お姉ちゃんが狼で決まりじゃん。
Hey, that kind of confirms that you're a wolf. Huh?
モッチー、何か気づいたのか？
You noticed something,
い
Mochi?
やだって今のやっすんの話への反応さ。
Well, look at her reaction to what you just said.
多分お姉ちゃん自分の立場に気づいてなかったから食いついたんでしょ今。
She was probably irritated because she didn't understand her own
自
position.
分が狼じゃないならそもそも聞かなくたっていい話だしな。
If she wasn't a wolf, she wouldn't have paid any attention to it.
この状況で適当に聞き流していい話なんてあるわけないでしょ。
I can't ignore any words in this situation, can I?
もっちどうしたのよいきなり。
What's gotten into you, Mochi?
だってそう思ったしさ。でもやっすんの意見には賛成かな。お姉ちゃんは泳がせればよし。
It's just a thought, but honestly, I agree with Yas. And we should keep her around and see how she
あ
works.
のねモッチー、あんまり適当なことばっか言ってると君まで疑われるよ。
Listen, saying that kind of stuff can place suspicions on yourself.
まあ桔梗の振る舞いだしな。しょうがないよね。
But I'm just weird. Don't blame it on
いや
me.
自分のためじゃなく人のためにもうちょっと考えてしゃべりな。
Try to speak for the human's sake, not just your
間
own.
宮さんがくくられることになったら今のモッチーの言葉のせいにもなるのよ。
If Mamiya-san got hanged, it'd be partially your fault.
怒られた。
Oh no, I got scolded.
で、匠兄ちゃんの誰もくくらないって方針にはつながるの？タイばあちゃんも間宮さんもくくらないならさ。
Anyway, if we're not hanging Taiba-chan or Mamiya-san, are we going with Takumi-ni-chan's idea of not hanging anyone at all?
それは。
That'd be meaningless. If we didn't lower the number of suspects, it'd be a waste of the free day the spider gave us.
くくらねえのが本当に俺らのためにならねえってなら俺は一つ言っとく。
If hanging really is in our best interests, I'll just say one thing.
俺はばあちゃんを信じてる。たとえ狼の役にされたとしてもばあちゃんを殺しなんてするはずねえ。
I believe in Botch, and I think she wouldn't kill even if she became a wolf. And yet she was responsible for some killings in Last Loop. Well, that just wasn't true.
俺はばあちゃんを守る。
That's why I'll protect her.
だわほんまに。ええ子ね。
You really are a good boy.
何も言ってない香織さんはどうなんだ。
What about you, Kaori-san? You haven't said a thing this whole time.
まあいいや。じいさんは
Oh well. And you, wolf guy?
狼が来る。
The wolf is coming.
もういいや。おやっさんどうする？
Forget it, old man. What do we do?
タイバーと記者は両方くくる。
Oh my gosh, hang both Taiba and the journalist. I wonder how she's gonna work out this, but I'm kind of enjoying how he wants to off both suspects right now. For a moment, we were so dumbfounded that the room was filled with utter silence.
なんでなんだよおやっさん。
But why?
狼はくくらねばならん。
The wolf's gotta hang.
そうかもしれねえが片方は狼じゃねえんだぞ。
That's true, but one of them's human.
確実にするために
We need We need sacrifices to be sure.
昔から皆そうやってきた。
That's how it always was. He then got up, which made him seem larger than usual.
会えば覚悟してくれ。
Taiba, get ready.
わしはあんたを60年見てきた。
I knew ya for 6
安水を吸い取る。
I knew you for 60 years. You love Yasumizu more than anyone else.
安水のために気張ってくれんか。
Won't you put yourself on the line for its sake? His voice was as blunt as always. Not changing his expression at all, he pushed an old acquaintance in what could be her death. Well, it's kind of a tough thing here. Like, she's as far as I know, in this loop, an innocent old lady. But she's also close to death, so who knows? Like, I don't think she looks bad enough in health to be close to death, but she is pretty much. It didn't matter to him if the person was friend or family. He had his own line of thinking and clearly knew what had to be done. Friend or outsider meant nothing in the face of this situation. There was no room for hesitation or mercy.
あんたと匠が骨拾うてくれるんね。
Will you and Takumi look after my remains? And his kind of madness was shared by everyone in Yasumizu.
ちゃん、そんな、嫌だよ。
Ah-chan, please, I don't wanna.
匠、私は狼様じゃない。あんたが信じてくれるんなら、票はあの女に入れとくれ。
Takumi, I'm not a wolf. If you believe that, vote for the woman.
その上で、私がくくられても、そ
If
れ
I-
は神内様の運命よね。
If I still get hanged, then it must be the will of
それ
Shinai-sama.
じゃあ植松の
Alright, Uematsu. Yes,
今日の
we vote. Yasunaga-kun was looking at the floor with a pale visage. I probably didn't look all that different from him. The silent alliance he and I had made was crushed by Kanza-san. It was a moment of defeat for us. The old man's words quickly ended the battle between reason and tradition. Was there any way for us to resist it? Like yesterday, voting began with the old wolf guy.
誰が、狼なんか。おお。
You wolf, ow! He acted the same way as before, but the one he pointed at this time wasn't me, but Tai-san.
あんた、いい加減なことを。
You too, you cursed. Did he even understand the situation?
女に入れる。
I'm voting for the journalist. Of course he would.
私も同じよ。
Me too.
間宮さんですか？
For Momya?
そうよ。
Yes.
俺は、
I.
あんただ。記者の姉ちゃん。
I'm voting for you, journal lady.
そうでしょうね。
I knew you would. The votes so far were about what you'd expect.
香織さん。
Kaori-san, you're next. Her position in all this was strange. Though she was an adult, she tended to listen to Yasunaga-kun and ask for his opinion often. I had no idea who she would vote for, but I soon found out. I never could have guessed it.
室匠さんに一票を。
One for Takumi Muro-san. Naturally, that shocked everyone.
出た。香織さん。
Kaori-san, why?
には難しいことはわかりませんが、
Some of this is too complicated
い
for
ざと
me.
なれば
For
も
me.
っとも疑いたくない方も疑わざるを得ない時だとは覚悟
But I'm
しているんですよ。
But I'm prepared to, if need be, suspect the one I didn't want to suspect at all.
だからそのつもりで
票を投じると決めました。
That's how I'm throwing away.
それを分かってもらいたいから。
That's how I'm throwing away my vote. I hope you understand that too.
じゃあ俺が別に狼じゃないと思ってるけど、俺の目を覚ますために票を使ったっていうのかよ。
So you don't think I'm a wolf, but you're voting for me to make me snap out of it?
あなたが狼じゃないって証拠はないし、私にはあなたが果たすべきことをしていないように思えるの。匠さん。
Dude, there's no proof that you aren't a wolf, and I don't believe you are doing what you want. Takumi-san.
俺が果たすべきこと。
What are you talking
なん
about?
だよそれ。意味がわからん。
The hell? I don't get it. Kawaii-san didn't change her vote, and Takumi-san ended up actually getting one.
私か。難しいな。
My turn, how complicated. Next up was Kiyonosuke Shi, who'd had little presence today.
どうにせよ、2名ともくくることには合理性はあるが、実際のところ、蛇を自称する彼女を軽んじすぎではないかね。
While it's reasonable to hang both of them, I believe we are undervaluing the one claiming to be the snake.
私は、室に投票しよう。
I shall vote for Muro.
てめえもか。
You too?
山脇老人に投票すれば貴様はもっと怒るだろう。それに私は彼に対する評価を少し改めた。
You'd be even more mad if I voted for Lady Yamawaki. Also, I changed my opinion of the newcomer a bit. Me?
ああ、それ以上は言うことはないがね。
Yes, I have nothing more to say though. Did you realize?
昨日と同様に野里さんに投票します。
Just like yesterday, I'm voting for Nasaru-san.
野里さんを選ぶ積極的理由は昨日のままですが、
My reason is the same as yesterday.
僕はもう少し間宮さんの言動に注目をしたい。ちなみにどうしてタイさんを蛇の加護の対象にしたんですか？
But now, I would also like to state that I wish to see how Momiya-san acts going forward. By the way, why did you choose Ai-san as your
ど
target?
うしたらいいかわからなかったから名前は適当に書いたわ。
I didn't know what to do, so I just wrote out whoever came to
適
mind.
当に選んでタイバーですか？まあわかりました。僕は以上です。
So you picked Taiba randomly, I see. That's all from me.
一体
What is all
僕
this?
はおっちゃんに1票追加。
I'm adding a vote to Uncle.
またか貴様、近持ち。
Again, Chikamochi?
本当はね、マミヤのお姉ちゃんが狼だと僕は思うんだけど、
Well, I do think that the Momiya lady is a
ヤ
wolf.
スンがもうちょっと見たいって言うなら、僕はそれでもいいかな。
But if Yasun wants to see what she does, I'll play along with
も
that.
っちありがとう。
Thanks, Mochi.
俺は意見を変えねえ。そこのクソババアに1票だ。
I'm not changing my opinion. One vote for the old hag.
汚れもんが
You corrupt little.
次、私か。
My turn, huh?
ごめん、間宮さん。
Sorry, Momiya-san.
投票するわ。
I'm voting for you.
私は蛇なのよ。
Why? I'm the snake.
だってあなたそんな人じゃなかったもの。いきなり変わったもの。
I mean, you weren't like this yesterday. What's with the change?
でももしかしたら春明さんが言ってた無地なかもしれない。
Wait, you might be the badger Haruaki-san talked about. Her words caused a stir, but not a big one. They didn't seem to understand the badger. Oh, they didn't seem to understand badger talk. No, the badger talk from yesterday didn't stay in their heads, it seemed.
もしそうなら言ってほしい。無地なだって人なんだから死ななくていいはずでしょ。
If you are, please say so. Badgers are humans, so they don't have to die.
そんなんじゃない。私は蛇よ。
I'm not the snake. Yeah, I'm not saying Jamie.
たくみ兄ちゃん、私別にたくみ兄ちゃんの味方のつもりじゃない。タイばあちゃんに投票しようか迷ったもの。
Takumi-chan, I'm not taking your side here. I was actually thinking about voting for Taiba-chan.
あんたもね。
Chi-chan, you too?
なんでだよ。
What, why?
だってこんなのどっちも味方できないよ。
Because I can't,
分かってるはずでしょ。
because I can't just take sides here. You understand that too, don't
タイ
you?
ばあちゃんが好きだからってそれだけを理由にして間宮さんを殺そうとするなんて。
You want to kill Mamiya-san just because you like Taiba-chan? No,
そんなのたくみ兄ちゃんらしくないよ。
that's not like you at all.
私はただたくみ兄ちゃんも一緒に悩んでくれるって勝手に期待しただけ。
I just hoped it would bother you the way it does the rest of us.
勝手でごめんばあちゃん。間宮さんも恨まれても仕方ないって思ってる。
Sorry I'm like
以上だよ。
Sorry I'm like this. You too, Ba-chan and Mamiya-san. I won't blame you if you hate me. That's all from me.
次、春。どうする？
Next, who are you picking, Haru?
じゃあ私も野里さんにする。
I guess I'll choose Nosato-san too.
なぜついでの感覚で私がこう毎回危ない目に遭わねばならんのかね。
Why am I always put in danger just because of childish whims? He sure had an unfortunate role in this.
次植松さんだけど。
Oh, he sure had an unfortunate role this time. Not in this. Okay. Uematsu-san is next.
山脇様に投票いたします。
I shall vote for Yamawaki-sama.
松様。
Uematsu-sama.
蛇の加護者を名乗られる方を
We cannot
使えません。
we cannot undervalue you claiming to be the
申
snake.
し訳ありません。もし間宮様の加護が本物でなかったら
I am sorry.
必ず果たしますから。
I'm sorry if Mamiya-sama turns out to be pretending to have a guardian. I will deliver due punishment.
いいですよ。わかりました。
Very well, I understand.
どうする？
Miko, who will you pick?
ばあちゃん
Oba-chan.
ガキにも嫌われてやがる。
Even the brat hates you.
サラナガの子に嫌われてようが。
I don't care about being hated by Saranaga, child. Arwaki-sama? What was I supposed to do? Mami-san was tied with Tai-san at 4 votes, while Kinosuke Shi had 3 and Takumi-san had 2. It was Mamiya-san's turn right after mine. She'd definitely vote for Tai-san, meaning that she effectively had 5 votes. So if I voted for Mamiya-san, I would bring it to a final vote, but if I voted for Tai-san, she would definitely be hanged. Were those my only choices here? Would a vote to condemning someone to death really be meaningful? A vote for Kinosuke Shi was bound to be pointless. I couldn't use it as a message of any kind, and it wouldn't be a good way to repay him for avoiding picking me. What if I voted for that guy over there, though? Let's see. I'm kind of curious about how they will go. But I think that I want to go for the wolf here. I should leave this up to a final vote. Though I wanted to see what Mamiya-san would do if it was between someone I knew was a human and a wolf. It was the wolf who should die. I explained my reasons to Mamiya-san. As expected, Mamiya-san threw a fit, practically foaming at the mouth, and voted for Tai-san. Now we were in the final vote. You old lady. I vote for the journal lady.
変わらず間宮に
Yeah, same here.
お二人から選ぶなら、ええ、間宮さんに投票します。
If that's your decision, then I believe I shall vote for Mamiya-san as well.
そうだな。どちらが怪しいというならば間宮女子の方だが、ここはあえて泳がせる意味で山脇さんに1票。
Well, if I had to say, I believe Mamiya-san is more suspicious, but I am curious as to what she will do, so I vote for Yamawaki-san. It was 2-3 with Mamiya-san in the lead. Now it was up to the village youth.
野里さんがかばうような動きをしたのがひどく気になります。間宮さんに1票。
I am curious as to why Nosato-san would want to protect her. 1 vote for Mamiya-san. 2-4.
やっすんそうするのか。僕はタエバーに入れとこ。お姉ちゃんが明日なんて言うのか気になるから。
So that's your play, Yasun. I'm voting for Taiba. I'm curious to see what this lady will do tomorrow. 3-4.
ババアより怪しい記者の女に。
I'm voting for the journal lady. She's fishier than the old hag. 3-5.
ばあちゃんにブチギレたってだけならどっちも怪しいってば。
I'm voting for Taiba-chan. They both flipped out, so they're both fishy though. 4-5.
私は間宮さんかな。
I guess I'll vote for Mamiya-san. 4-6.
私は蛇のカゴ車を名乗る方を
I believe that we shouldn't mistreat. I believe that we shouldn't mistreat those who claim to. I believe that I believe that we shouldn't mistreat those who claim to have guardians. My apologies, Tai Yamawaki. Isama. 5-6. I can only vote for one of them, then the old lady. 6-6. Did Mako even have a clear target? Everyone's eyes were focused on me. My vote could decide it all. Being an outsider just like her, I could sympathize deeply with Mamiya-san. Her stories were very interesting. She was pretty, and if it weren't for all this, I could see myself getting on pretty well with her. Much more than Tai-san, sad as it was to say. However, the rationality of the Feast of the Only Perch did not allow me to choose her.
間宮さんに投票します。
I'll vote for Mamiya-san. Wait, I thought we weren't going to choose her. Oh. Yeah. That's right. So it doesn't make too much sense, but oh well. I'm gonna vote for Mamiya-san. And then it happened. Ah! Mamiya-san darted off with a scream as she made a break for the exit, nearly tripping on her own feet. After her. Wait the fuck up. Ow. Let me go. Bring the rope, hurry. Right here. Stop. They gagged her, huh? How would I feel in Mamiya-san's shoes? She'd been bound and gagged, having her freedom and right to speech stolen from her. To her, she was a foreigner who'd been hunted down and cornered by a community rooted in strange traditions. An absurdly irrational ending where she'd be punished for rules she didn't agree with one bit. Were it not for the looping in my past knowledge, I'd probably be thinking along the same lines. But from the way she was acting, it didn't look like she'd come up with the idea to play a fake snake on her own. Had the other wolves pressured her into it? In that case, there were wolves amongst us who'd driven her to her death and were playing dumb. So we got her. Shinai-san's guardians are. We passed through the mist and walked towards the graveyard. 5. Prepare for the feast when the evening mists arrive. Everyone was singing prayer to Shinai. 8. Shinai-san's guardians are. I couldn't tell who had started or when they did so. 8. Death of the damned Yomobito is the mandate. The sobbing mixed with the singing made it seem like an old funeral, but it was actually an execution. Painfully slow, we walked through the path leading to the cliff next to Saranaga. I was already used to this thanks to all the cleanups. Everyone dragged Hisako Mamiya bound head to toe along with them. 7. The corrupt Yomobito rise to oppose the mountain. Before I knew it, even I had joined the singing, creating a perfect unity in the group. Eventually, we reached our destination. It was downhill beyond the trees, wet with dew in a grass field covered in stones marking the lives of those who used to live here. Strangely enough, the aged pine tree right at the end could be seen easily despite the mist. As we stopped, so did the song and emotion. Mami-san struggled against her bonds, against her bonds to the bitter end, but was unable to escape them. And so Kanza-san tied the rope around her neck and threw her down into the misty valley. Right after she landed, we heard a disturbing crunching noise instead of a death well. Wait. Crunching noise? Did she die from the impact or something else? Her cervical vertebrae had been damaged when she'd been hit and hung, so her death had practically been instant. I hope she hadn't suffered long at least. All I felt was pity fringing on heartlessness toward a fellow outsider who'd been caught up in all this. Afterwards, we all returned to the dining hall where Kaori-san and I served our light lunch while time passed by. Everyone tried to act as normal as possible. They tried to convince themselves that Mamiya-san shouldn't have been in Yasumizu in the first place, so her absence was only natural. However, it was clear that they felt guilty for committing murder. Killing someone no one liked and talking as though none of it had ever happened was a horrible group mentality. But that was the truth of the Feast of the Only Purge. For a group brought together to kill the wolves, not actually hunt them down and kill them, was madness bordering on suicidal. So it was. That's what it was. We'd have and to kill her, simple as that. Don't worry too much, Fusaishi. Takumi-san comforted me. I must have looked guilty.
春明さんはたまたま選ぶのが最後になっただけ。
He's right, you just happened to get the final vote, that's
あの
all.
状況でどっちを選んでも仕方ないって。みんなで選んだんだから。
It was what we'd all decided. No matter what you picked, it wouldn't have helped.
ちーちゃんは私に入れた。
You voted for me, Chi-chan.
うん。ごめん。でも本当に どっちも選べなかったんだ。
Yeah, sorry, but I couldn't vote for both of you.
タイバーちゃん、許してもらえなくても仕方ないけど。
I'm sorry, Taiba-chan. I understand if you can't forgive me.
ええよね。それが宴よ。
It's alright, that's the feast. A reconciliation. Normally that'd be cause for celebration. But what would happen tomorrow? Anyway, I'd thrown away my chance to reveal I was the snake and chose to keep it hidden. So long as I had to avoid fatal situations and keep hiding my identity until a more favorable opportunity presented itself. But when would that be? When would a better opportunity than this feast occur? Is there anyone I trusted who I could share my secrets, meet with, and take on the feast with all in one day? That seemed like my only option. I grappled with those unsatisfied thoughts as dinner ended and I returned to my hut. Murder really didn't pay. Even in this situation. Even when I could loop. Actually, no, it was because I could loop that I could keep these memories of being a murderer and move on to the next time if I screwed up. I took her life. I would take this extremely reviling and terrifying taste of omnipotence with me to the grave. It didn't feel good to know I could have... it didn't feel good to know I could be... I could have been bound by my experience. I want to say that should have been could have been. So that's why it's tripping me up there. I remember those thoughts running through my head as I absentmindedly wrote someone's name down and put it under my pillow. We don't get a choice, huh? And then I lost consciousness. In the end, I never woke up. Why had the wolves chosen this point to go after me? I couldn't understand it. I'd even refrained from revealing my guardian to avoid drawing suspicion. In that case, I must have already been pretty high on the wolves' hit list, and my actions today had crossed some line. And my actions today had crossed some line, or maybe they'd already decided to kill me today and that had nothing to do with it. I didn't know. It was pointless to think about. It was how the Feast of the Yomi Perch was. No matter how much logic I tried to apply, it could all come crashing down on a whim. No, perhaps logic wasn't even all that important to the feast. Though I'd already died, I felt like those bitter thoughts continued even after. I don't remember my last moments very well. Before long, my consciousness eroded away and faded like the mist that covered all. So I probably had to vote for Takumi, but we're gonna go with the bad end we're gonna go for the hint just to make sure if I'm right. Watch the hint corner. Yes.
やっちまったってことはねえな、今回は、大将。
Now you've done it. Oh wait, you actually didn't this
い
time.
や、しゃあねえよ。気分転換までにヒント聞いてってくれ。
Well, life's a bitch sometimes. Here's a hint to cheer you up.
今回のバッドエンド14、題して、狼投票したら血祭りについてだが、
Bad ending 14, brutalization
これも
vote.
バッドエンド13と類似かもしれねえな。
Could be called the same type as bad ending 13.
人狼ゲームのセオリー的には何にも間違ってねえってこと。
In other words, you did nothing wrong with following the general playing strategy of Werewolf.
妻子春明的には間宮久子が絶対に偽物だとは分かってるわけだからな。
Especially since
証明すんのは大事だ。
Haruaki Fusashi knew Hisako Momiya was a fake. Voting to declare your intentions is important.
これを見 見てる狼がもし夫妻師春明に目つけていて殺すた
However,
めに些細な判断材料を探してたなら
however, if the wolves watching were suspicious of Haruaki Fusaishi and looking for whatever evidence they could to kill
大
him,
将の選んだ選択肢が気まぐれな狼の背中を押しちまうかもしれねえってわけだ
then that means your choice ended up giving the wolves exactly what they wanted by pure
人
luck.
狼ゲームならぬ読み意味の宴目立たずにこっそり生き残る方向性で
Unlike werewolf, discretion is important to survive the feast of the Omi Purge.
7の9投票の選択1に戻ってみてくれ
So go back to 5, wit, and question voting 1.
つうわけで今回はここまで次も元気に死んでこい
Well, that's enough for this time. Die another hearty death next time.
そういう夢だ
Okay. Alright. So back to here. Okay, so we have to go here. So now we know what happens if we vote for the wolf. So let's see, would a vote condemning someone to death really be meaningful? A vote for Kiyanosuke Shi was bound to be pointless. I couldn't use it as a message of any kind, and it wouldn't be a good way to repay him for avoiding him picking me. What if I voted for that guy over there, though? Okay, so this one ended up in a dead end. We are gonna vote for Takumi and see what kind of outcome that this gives us this
高
time.
見さんに投票します。
I'm voting for Takumi-san. Nobody seemed to have expected my declaration. The room was filled with commotion and I could hear some of them whispering. It was mostly along the lines of what's he thinking, or I guess we know who we're hanging. This was a strange and heavy-handed way to go about this. However, I felt like it could lead me to gaining Takumi-san's favor. I had my doubts, though it was a serious gamble. However, I also had a feeling that if I chose anything else, I wouldn't survive the
どう
night.
いう意味だ最終
What's this about Fusaishi? I had to carefully phrase my response here. Settling on what words to use, I
僕
said,
はあなたを守りたいと思ってます。
I want to protect you. He did show some confusion, but the more pronounced emotion, and by far, was anger. Pure rage. After all, by not voting for Mamiya-san, I just condemned Tai-san to death.
それは香織さんや千恵美と同じような話かよ
You're doing the same thing as Kaori-san and Chiemi?
僕からは以上です。
That's all I have to say. The hell? I couldn't say too much. My goal here was actually just to make him feel like something was up. That was why I had to end this feast with words that stayed in his mind. Well, I probably had to prepare for a punch or two. It was an awkward moment, but I stayed
私
silent.
の番分かってるでしょうけど山脇さんに投票するわ
My turn, you know by now I'm voting for Yamawaki-san. It's decided. With those words, everyone stood up like it was rehearsed. Isaka-san and I were a bit behind them in that regard. Then I saw the villagers' faces, which seemed different from before. We marched through the rope. Yes.
タエバーに酒ついでやれ
Takumi pours some sake for Taiba.
あん
Chan.
たはちいちゃい頃から機関棒で
You are
悪い子じ
not.
ゃったね。
You were a naughty child ever since you were small.
ええ思うことはてこでも曲げんこで。でも 優しい子で、
You never
変わらんわいね。
you never changed your mind about what you thought was right, but you were always gentle, and that hasn't
そ
changed.
れでも、大きゅう育って、よしこさんも誇らしかろうね。
But you still grew up to be so big. Yoshiko-san must be proud.
あーちゃん本当のあーちゃんみたいに
I always thought of you as my real grandma.
家族みたい
You were like real family to me.
泣きなさんな。新内様のところでまた会えるわよ。
Don't cry, we'll meet again at the home of Shinai-sama. The old lady smiled and drank her sake. Then the rope was placed over her shoulders. I shall tighten it now.
しっかりね。
Do it. Rikako-san twined the rope around her twice and tied her hands behind her back. It was simple but necessary. The process continued. The dimly lit hall was filled with dark emotions. Lament, chagrin, and gloom was heard in every sob, whimper, and movement. I felt like I was watching a family grieve for an elder dying a peaceful death. Isako Mamiya silently mouthed the words, "They're insane." Well, you almost died, Mamiya. I shared the sentiment wholeheartedly. Shinai-san's guardians are. We passed through the mist and walked toward the graveyard. 1 snake, 2 monkey, 3 crow, 4 spider. Interesting, they're going more about it this time as compared to the other 2 times today. Everyone was singing prayer to Shinai. Shinai-san's guardians are. I couldn't tell who had started it or when they did so. 8 death to the damned Yomobito is the mandate. The sobbing mixed with singing made it seem like an old funeral, but it was actually an execution. Painfully slowly, we walked through the path leading to the cliff next to Saranaga. I was already used to this thanks to all the cleanups. 7 the corrupt Yomobito rise to oppose the mountain. Before I knew it, even Mamiya-san and I had joined the singing, creating a perfect unity in the group. Eventually, we reached our destination. It was downhill beyond the trees, wet with dew in a grass field covered in stones, marking the lives of those who used to live here. Strangely enough, the aged pine tree right at the end could be seen easily despite the mist. As we stopped, so did the song and emotion.
最後に何ぞあるか耐えば
Got any last words, Taiba? No birds could be heard, and the wind was still perfect. And the wind was still perfect silence surrounded us as Zasan did the job.
私はよみがえりなんぞせんつもりじゃがね。
I'm not thinking.
どんなところかわからんからね。
I'm not thinking of coming back from the dead, but I don't know what kind of place I'll find there.
正直恐ろしいが、これも安水のためじゃ。
Honestly,
ない。
I'm afraid, but this is for the sake of Yasumizu.
あんたは許さんぞ。
I curse you, woman. Her voice was crystal clear, and now born unmistakable hatred. Mami-san remained silent, and everyone aware of what was about to happen prepared for the final process.
私たちの信仰の中心はある意味ここ首吊り松の墓所。
You could say that this is the heart of our religion, the graveyard of the hanging pine. I knew this was an important place for them, but I didn't know anything else. However, I did feel like they were acting with absolute precision, like they were meticulously rehearsed actors in a stage play. 2 of them coiled a rope around the pines large trunk leaning out toward the cliff while another skillfully made a noose out of the other end. Hanzo-san took it in hand and then looped it over Tai-san's neck. Rise not.
打ちなかれ。
Rise not. It was the first time I'd heard those words. They were probably final goodbye and a signal. And with that, the old lady's small frame went over the cliff. A second later, the rope went taut. At the same time, an inhuman sound came from the mist down below. After a long silence, Shinai-san's guard. Shinai-san's guardians are 1 snake, 2 monkey, 3 crow, 4 spider. The song was sung again, and it was obvious who started this time. After repeating the song a dozen or so times, Hanzo-san walked up to the pine and cut the rope with a sickle he had in hand. Was there a sound of her falling down? If there was, I couldn't hear it. Not saying a word, we all returned to the plaza. Everyone seemed to feel like we'd done something that could not be undone. We'd passed a point of no return. No, that probably wasn't right. The point of no return was passed a long time ago. This just made us realize it, and even then I didn't know of anyone besides Mamiya-san, and I felt it. The villagers might have begun feeling like this the very moment the mists came. I thought about that long and hard. It made me feel something like remorse or powerlessness, both of which were unproductive emotions that really dulled your thoughts. The locals, however, seemed to feel differently. They did look like they were in a state of emotional numbness, but it seemed to be a result of something other than shock or a sense of loss. It was something more natural. They seemed like empty husks. I had a thought once that the real problem wasn't the monster, but this state of being. We returned to the dining hall. Oribe.
はい。
Yes.
飯作れ。
Make food.
承知しました
Understood.
な食堂におれ。わしは見回ってくる。
Stay in the dining hall, I'll look
や
around.
さんもいろよ。
You stay too.
本当は危ないもんなんていねえんだろ。俺ら以外には。
There ain't nothing dangerous in the mist besides us anyway.
飯時には戻る。
I'll be back for
俺
food.
も家に戻らせてもらう。
I'm going back
た
home.
ぐみ。
Takumi?
死なねえよ。何万回歩いたあぜを踏み外して死ぬような真似しねえ。
I won't die. Geez, I've walked that path thousands of times.
あんたに撃たれた時だ。
If anything kills me, it'll be a bullet from your gun. With that as his parting shot, Takumi-san left.
他のものはおれよ。
The rest of you stay here. And so Kanzo-san left too. He had no intention of playing along. He planned to resolve the feast with his own 2 hands to the very end. He was even capable of convincing Tai-san to accept death. As long as he was alive, he would continue to command the humans as a strong, but harsh leader. However, I felt like I'd seen his tough facade crack only a little just now, probably for the first time ever. Though Takumi-san was considered to be the local young leader figure, Kanzo-san seemed to constantly underestimate him, thinking him too soft. The softness softness in this case was simply common sense and consideration, useful things in any other situation. Looking at it from that angle, that supposed softness now seemed conspicuously absent. Tai-san's death had changed something in Takumi-san, and it wasn't yet clear if it was for the better. Overcome by awkwardness, we barely talked, simply watching time go by. I had brief chats with Kaori-san and helped her prepare the food. She seemed to be composed and took it very seriously.
肉抜きですかね。
No me?
ここには精進の風習はないわ。普通にしましょう。
We don't practice asceticism here. Let's eat normally. Every line spoken felt like a secret chat between partners in crime. It felt really weird. I knew full well we'd done something inexcusable. Despite that, I wasn't feeling the normal amount of shock and guilt. Perhaps because the moment Tai Yamawaki-san died was neatly cordoned off from everyday life. The song, the farewell, all of it might have been ways of separating the event from their daily lives. It seemed like they had to slightly lower the emotional burden from killing one of them. Did they think it up naturally, or did they remember it? Done?
ただいま。
Yes, just now. Soon enough, we gave out the now familiar veggie and shishinere soup along with some rice. Oddly enough, everyone still had their appetite. However, since Takumi-san hadn't returned, we ended up eating with one person unaccounted for. And not just him, there was one more empty seat that had been occupied this very morning. Shit, what the hell was this? Hey, San. It felt like it had been so long since someone called out to me. The others likely felt the same, which is probably why it attracted some attention. What? Taiba's gone. What was he getting at? Was he trying to get me to talk about it?
そうだね。残念な結果だった。
Yeah, unfortunate.
残念？発散的にはタイバーを守ろうと思えば守れたよね。
Is it you could have protected her, right?
やめなって。春明さんからはタイバーちゃんも間宮さんもどっちが怪しいかは判断つかないんだから。
Stop it, Mochi. From Haruaki's perspective, Taiba-chan was as shady as Mamiya-san.
ああ。だから僕は二人のどちらにも票を入れたくなかった。他に選択肢をなくしたのは僕より上流の人たちだろう。
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to vote for either of them. The people who voted before me were the ones who left me without any other options.
私たちを除くよ。
Not us,
だか
though.
らといって私に入れることはないと思うがね。
I don't see why you chose to vote for me, though.
いいじゃん。いい票の入れ先として役に立ってるし、みんな今はそこまで疑ってないと思うよ。
It's fine, you're a good dumping ground for votes, and it's not like everyone expects you yet. Sure.
自分は違うと言いたげだな。
You're saying that as if you do.
記者のお姉ちゃんとおっちゃん。あとはハッサンあたりが狼じゃないかな。
Yeah, right now I think that the journal, you and Hassan are the wolves. I wasn't the only one who jumped. Everyone looked at Mochi and I.
参ったな。いろいろ下手を打ったのは認めるけど、君にも信用されてないっていうのは。
Oh man, I know I messed up a bit here and there, but I didn't think that even you didn't trust me.
あー、ごめん。別に僕は信用とかそういうのはどうでもいいの。ただ、狼ってどんな気分かなとか聞きたいな。
Sorry, it's not about trust. I don't really care about that. I just wanted to know how the wolves are feeling.
夜更かしも殺しもやりたい放題。いいな。 羨ましいな。
They can stay up late and do anything, even kill. It sounds great. I'm actually
も
jealous.
っち、その辺にしとこう。間宮さんはまだ偽物だと決まったわけじゃないんだから。
Mochi, leave it at that. We don't have proof that Mamiya-san is a fake. Yasunaga-kun stopped him because he noticed how strained Mamiya-san's expression was. However, he said that while looking at Konzo-san, making it very clear who was in charge here.
近持ち来い
Shikamochi, come here.
やだ。
I don't
来
wanna.
い
Come over. Mochi tried to ignore him, but the pressure got to him. He slowly got up and walked over to Konzo-san. The old man just slapped the cross-dressing boy. His light body collapsed on the table, and the one to soften his fall
大
was.
丈夫か
You okay?
って、じっちゃんの方が大丈夫かい？骨とか。
Oh, wow. What about you? Your bones alright? Hehehehe. Those two sure got along well.
棒はいかんの
Violence isn't the answer. Hehehe.
今さら何言いやがる暴力じじい
A little late for that, don't you think, you senile fool?
宴のことは宴の外ではせん皆知っとる
We don't talk.
近持ち
We don't talk about the feast outside the feast. Everyone knows that. Stop it,
わ
Chikamochi.
かったよ。記者のお姉ちゃん、ハッサン、ごめん。
All right, journal lady Hassan. Sorry about that. He didn't have any ill intent, did he? He was probably as eccentric as he was because he was exceptionally observant, but had poor social
僕は構わないよ
intelligence.
仕方ないし
I don't mind. I can't blame you, really. But I had no idea how to help out Mamiya-san. She was so tense she could burst at any moment.
私は両方をくくらねばならぬということは
Mamiya-san, I do
思
not.
います。
Mamiya-san, I do not believe that both of you must be
上
hanged.
松のてめえ
Uematsu.
恐れ入りますが、一つ重要なことをお聞きしておりませんでした。
I apologize, but there is some.
話をすることをお
I
許しください。
I apologize, but there's something important I forgot to ask. Please allow me to talk about the feast for a moment.
間宮様、今晩は加護によってあな
Mamiya-sama,
たを遠見されるおつもりですか？
Mamiya-sama, who do you intend to use your guardian's power on tonight?
そんなの、私の勝手でしょ。
That's up to me, isn't it?
いいえ、加護は我ら人すべてのために
No, Shinai-sama.
様より賜りし者
No, Shinai-sama gave.
お使いいただかねば。
No, Shinai-sama gave the guardians. For the human's sake, you must use it with us in mind.
あっそう。じゃあ誰を見れば？
Right, who should I investigate then?
織部安永様、いかがお思いですか？
Yasunaga Oribe-sama, what do you think?
僕ですか？僕としては野里さんに対する疑惑をそろそろ外しておく必要があると思うんですが。
Me personally, I'd like to clear up all suspicions regarding
私
Masato-san.
にとってはありがたいがね
I would appreciate that. He had a high chance of being both a candidate for the hanging and the snake's investigation, so Yasunaga-kun probably wanted him to stop being a safe retreat for votes. However, Mamiya-san was a fake. I was tempted to reveal that, but had to restrain myself.
じゃあ今日は野里さんを調べるから、雲の人には私を守ってもらいたいんですけど。
Alright, I'll look into Nasato-san. Then I'd also like the spider to protect me, though.
いえ、それはまずいです。
That wouldn't do.
なんでよ。
こ
Why?
の場で決めてしまうと、狼側が別の人を殺すという判断材料にもなってしまいますから。
If we decided that here, the wolves should simply go for someone else.
雲の方は、すでに一人を救ってます。それだけでも大した成果ですが、次も任せていいんじゃないでしょうか。
The spider already saved one person. That alone is impressive enough to leave it to them again.
そうかもね。
I see, that's true.
植松さん、それだけですか。
Umatsu-san, is that it?
出過ぎました。牧島様。
Yes, sorry for being too forward, Makishima-sama.
俺はまた出てくる。
I'm going out again.
肝臓じいちゃん、ずっとここにいたら息が詰まっちゃうよ。なんとかなんない？
Kanzo Ji-chan, being here for too long is uncomfortable. Can we walk around?
死ぬよりゃマシよ。
Better than dying. He had a point. The positions and roles were completely different from last time, but I felt like people would die if we split up.
匠には気をつけ。
Watch out for Takumi. He uttered those curt words and walked out.
そうだね。匠姉ちゃん、ばあちゃんがいなくなってだいぶ答えてるみたい。
Yeah, he's taking Bachan's death pretty hard.
でけえ図体して軟弱だな。
So the big guy's a big guy's a
吉
softie.
次、お前ちょっと来い。
Yoshisugu, come
なん
here.
だよ、兄貴。
What do you want?
母さん、上を使うよ。
We'll be upstairs, Mom.
待ちなさい。私も行くから。
Wait, I will go with you.
久石さん、任せていい？
Fusaishi-san, can you take care of things here? Of course. The Oribeis went upstairs, leaving the dining hall with just two of the students. Kinosuke Shi, the old wolf guy, Chiemi, Rikako-san, Mako, and Mamiya-san. Myself included, that was 9 people, a few numbers away from the total.
ああ、しんどい。
What a pain. I share the sentiment.
いつまでこんなの。
How long will this go on? The mood softened up and everyone finally began speaking their mind.
ハッサンさ、狼？
Hassan, you a wolf? Even if he was, why would he answer that in the affirmative right here, Mochi?
違うよ。
No.
じゃあ、カゴ車？
Got a
ど
guardian?
うかな。というか、今話すのはダメなんじゃないの？
Who knows? Wait, we're not supposed to talk about it, right?
そんなんお年寄りの言ってることじゃん。実際は丸一日これしててもいいくらいすっごい難題だと思うけどな。
That's just old people talk. If you ask me, this is something we should be discussing all day long.
ぼっち、なんかわかんないの？
Mochi, do you know something?
彼はそういうの強いの？推理とか。
Is he good at deduction or
ど
something?
うしよう、もっち。話しかけられた。
Mochi, what do I do? He just talked to
いい
me.
加減慣れなよ。噛みつかないよ。
Get used to him, he won't bite.
とこい。
Go on.
大した話じゃないですけど。もっち、勘がよく当たるから。
It's nothing big. Mochi just has good intuition.
残念。僕のクレイジー脳みそコンピューターは霧の中じゃろくに働かないみたいだ。
What a shame my crazy brain computer doesn't work right in this
て
mist.
いうか、昨日あんなこと言ったのに大したこと言いませんでしたよね。私、あなたのことまだ疑ってますよ。
Come to think of it, you talked big yesterday but didn't have much to show for it today, did you? I still suspect
いい
you.
ね。疑われるのは仕方ないけど、せめて砕けた喋り方にしてくれないかな。
Okay, I won't blame you.
感じるんだ。
Okay, I won't blame you for that. But could you at least be more friendly with me? It feels like there's a wall of ice between us.
あなたナンパ男っぽいもん。
I mean, you seem like a playboy. So that was the reason, huh? This reminded me that when we first met last time, she assumed I was Chiami's boyfriend. Was it even possible for her to have a better opinion of me? Getting along with her wouldn't hurt.
会はいずれ解くとして、本当は僕もいろいろ言いたかったんだよ。
I'll clear up that misunderstanding later. Honestly, though, I wanted to say more.
嘘だ。兄ちゃんにばっか喋らせてさ。おじいちゃんが全部ダメにしちゃったけど。
You're lying. You just let Nii-chan talk and then Oji-chan made it all go to waste.
どうでしょうか。あの時、織部安永様は
Is that how it seems to you? Is that how...
されていたように思いますが。
Is that how it seems to you? If you ask me, it felt like Yasunaga Oribe-sama was covering for Haruaki-sama. Whoa, she was treading into dangerous territory with that.
そうなんだよね。ヤッスンはなぜかハッサンをやたらと信用してるよね。何なんだろう。
I felt that way too. Yasun really trusts Hassan for some reason. I wonder
理屈
why.
っぽいところは似てると思うよ。ヤス君と春明さん。ここじゃ珍しいタイプだし、話せて嬉しいんじゃない？
They're both the argumentative, logical types. You don't get many of those here, so they're probably happy to find a kindred
春
spirit.
明様。議論が盛り上がる相手の方が。
Haruaki-sama. You prefer to talk to those who you can argue with?
会話が弾めば何でも楽しいですけどね。
As long as the talk is good, I don't really care.
口下手な女はお嫌いですか？
Do you dislike women who are bad with
大丈夫で
words?
す。引き出しますから。
Don't worry, I'm sure I can encourage you to use your mouth.
引き出されてしまう。
Use my
春
mouth?
明さんって絶対女のトラブルで逃げてきたんでしょ。
Haruaki-san, you ran away because of trouble with women, right? How do you know this, Chiemi? Like, I said before earlier in this route that there were hints that she was suffering the same, going through the same things as Haruaki, but this seems to confirm it more and more. Because we didn't talk to Chiemi in this route, at least too much.
ははは、何を証拠に、はははは。
Whatever do you mean, ha 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 ha.
リカ子さん、多分この人すっごく悪い男だから、深入りはやばいですよ。
Rikako-san, he's probably a real bad boy. You shouldn't humor him any further. Bad boy?
スーパー悪女チエミガールにここは任せて早く逃げて。
Run away and leave him to me, the super bad Chiemi girl.
悪い方に憧れたりは。
I might have a fondness for bad boys. So that's how it is, huh?
モッチ、あれが大人の女の戦い？
Mochi, is this what a fight between adult women looks like?
大人の女の戦いと言ったら、やっぱおっぱいビンタ大会じゃないかな。
Pretty sure adult women fight by slapping each other with their tits. Why would they do that, Mochi?
詳しく聞かせてくれ。
Now you've got my attention.
って
You disgust me.
脱線してないかしら。まあこの状況でちょっとくらい緊張を緩めたい気持ちはわかるけど。
That was certainly one way to change the subject, though I do understand why you'd want to lighten the mood around here.
別に まあいいんですけど、何言われても不妻子さん怪しいし。
Well, maybe it's fine. I still think Fusaishi-san's shady though. Honestly, being seen that way made things easier for me. Yasunaga-kun was probably relatively certain that I had a garden. He might have realized that I was planning on revealing it today and presenting them with the info I got. Then I changed my plans after seeing what happened today. That probably made him even more certain about what I was. However, my actions only made sense if you assumed I had a guardian. Otherwise, I was just a scared fool saying whatever I could to survive. That was why Yasunaga-kun took charge of the conversation before I said something important, drawing attention and Konzo-san's ire to himself. Because of that, Haru-chan and Chiemi still thought I was irrelevant, which meant that Yasunaga-kun's plan worked. I could only hope. We didn't have any more mochis around here. I didn't want anyone else putting me under a magnifying glass like he did. Rikako-san was only elevating me because, like she'd said yesterday, she believed I was brought here to save them. It could have been some other feelings she had for me, but whatever the case, she stood up to any negative remarks about me. In a way, my current situation was well balanced.
じっちゃんはさ、狼とかカゴシャとかじゃないのかい？
Old man, you wolf forgot a guardian. Really, Mochi? Why are you doing this? I see.
それ意思疎通できてるの？
That was communication.
だからじっちゃんは面白いのだ。
Nope, that's what makes him fun.
俺も面白い。
I fun?
今日はなんか結構喋るな、じっちゃん。スケベな話してよ。
You're talking a lot today, old man. Say something perverted.
スケベスケベ。
Perv. Perv.
スケベー。
Perv.
そういうことじゃないでしょ。っていうかやめてよ下品なのは。
Where'd that come from? And cut it out.
そんなこと言って興味あるくせに。知恵姉がハーバンな実録をエッチ話聞かせてあげようか。
Don't act like you're not interested. Want to hear my true urban tales of lust? Oh my gosh.
その お詳しく。
Elaborate.
釣れた。案の定ドスケベリカコさんが釣れた。
There, caught her. Of course, Kakako-san would be interested, you perv.
なんなのです。この牧島春様との扱いの違いは。
What do you mean? Why are you treating me differently than Haru Makishima-sama?
いやー、神秘的な美人も生身の女だと知ってちえみさん嬉しいんですよ。ま、そっちじゃ負けませんけどね。
Hey, I'm just glad the Mystic Beauty is a normal girl inside, though I'm not about to lose to you on that front.
勝負しますか。
Care to try?
おお、なんか来た。
Whoa, it's happening.
手伝うわ。大人って。
Adults are so dirty.
スケベー。
Curve!
地獄だ。
This is a living
だか
hell.
ら野里屋敷に戻れば？
You can always go back to the Nasato mansion.
外に出られるか。
I'm not leaving this place at this time.
おっちゃんに撃たれるから？
Because you'll be shot by the old man?
もな。
Or Moro?
匠さんがタエさんを失ったショックから暴れると。
You think Takumi-san will go out of control over the shock of from losing Tai-san?
当然危惧すべきではないかね。私とて奴とは付き合いが長いが、あれほど思い詰めた顔はそうそう見んよ。
It's a definite possibility. I've known him for a long time, but I've never seen him look as cornered as he did
マキシマ
today.
王も言ったではないかね。匠に気をつけろと。
Old man Makishima also said to watch out for him, didn't he? So that was what he meant, huh? It seemed possible. It was still daytime, but he wasn't here. What was he up to then? And how would this affect the negotiations I was planning? Maybe I was close to my
ちょ
limit.
っとムロさんの様子を見に行ってこようかな。
Maybe I should go check on Muro-san.
一人で出るの危ないって。本当に肝臓じいちゃんに撃たれちゃう。
Oh, but it's dangerous to go alone. Kanzo Ji-chan will seriously shoot you.
マキシマ肝臓様が
I
気を
believe
使って
I believe Kanzo Makishima-sama went to see him by
じい
himself.
ちゃんはそんな気遣いしないよ。
OG-chan isn't that
はる
considerate.
ちゃんいつもそう言うね。はるちゃんのじっちゃんは、はるちゃんをすっごく愛してると思うけどな。
You always say that, but I honestly think that he loves you a lot.
どこがよ。宴が始まるまで半年くらいろくに会話もなかったのに。
How we barely even talked for the past half year before the feast began.
肝臓じいちゃん寡黙だからな。
He's just the silent type. That intrigued me too, but I had to focus my attention on Takumi-san. However, if I went and did something about that, I'd probably attract the attention of the wolves. This is difficult. What was I supposed to do
ところ
here?
で、やっすんたち遅いね。ちょっと盗み聞きしてくる。
By the way, Yas's family sure is taking their time. I'll go listen in on
ちょ
them.
っとやめなって。
Hey, don't.
だって、あの3人が狼だったらさ、密談とかしてたらやばいだろう。
But what if they're the wolves? We can't let them meet in secret, right? Aru-chan was shocked for a moment, but she really didn't have to be.
安永くんは猿なんだからそんなことはないでしょ。
Yasunaga-kun is a monkey, so there's just no way.
しかり。最悪、織部安永が偽物であっても、その場合マキシマ王も偽物となる。
Exactly, if Yasunaga Oribe turned out to be a fake, that'd mean that old man and Makishima was a fake as well. That'd be awful.
そっか。
True. All three of them simply couldn't have been the wolves, so there was no problem with their secret chat.
盗
However,
み聞きは良くないが密談も良くない。こうして変な憶測も呼ぶし。
eavesdropping isn't good, but neither is meeting in secret. Such things draw suspicion like they did just now.
もっち、はるちゃん、呼んどいで。
Right, Mochi, Haru-chan called
一
them.
人でよくない？
Why us two? One's fine,
いいわ
right?
よ別に。行きましょう。
I don't mind, let's just go. Yeah, this wasn't a role that could be left to a single person. The secret chats would increase the likelihood of conspiracies and hidden pacts, perhaps resulting in lawless murders like last time. However, at the same time, there was the risk that someone, especially the wolves, could find out about such pacts without the parties knowing. The wolves left their house at night to kill people, meaning they could have all the secret talks they wanted out in the night mist. We humans could only have secret talks during the day, where we risked being heard by other inhabitants and wolves. Overall, the wolves had a way bigger advantage on the intelligence front. By just meeting up at night, they didn't have to have any chats during the day. In fact, they could just focus on listening. They could also agree on what roles it would take, which one would pretend to have a guardian, which one would side with the humans, which one would gather info. By eavesdropping on humans' secret chats, they could gain info without the humans even realizing someone was listening. That was why people couldn't be allowed to go off to listen to these chats on their own. It would imply they had ulterior motives. Jamie had realized that just now, huh? She sure had some tact. Did that mean she suspected Mochi, though?
匠兄がヘビだって言った時、嫌な感じがしたんだ。
When Takumi said he was the snake, I had a bad feeling come over me.
ああ、今、狼様が笑ったなーって。
Oh, it felt like I could hear the wolves laughing. He certainly had sharp intuition. This reminded me that he'd just asked me a leading question whether I was a wolf or had a guardian. Did he perhaps realize? Whether he was human or wolf, he might have known that I had a guardian. Had Chiemi stopped him from going off on his own because she saw him as dangerous? Perhaps I had to use my snake powers to investigate him. Shit, this was complicated. Upon returning, the Oribes wore docile expressions. But they didn't have anything to say, they just returned to their seats, and that was that. It seems they came down at about the same time as the two students went to pick them up. This was the first time I'd seen him so serious. It made him look a lot like his brother. Large eyes, a straight gaze, they probably inherited those features from their late father, Eikuguchi. I couldn't help but wonder what they'd talked about. Yasunaga-kun probably wanted to scold Yoshisugu-kun, while Kaori-san probably was concerned about how they were holding up. I did think it was important to have a strong will in this situation. An outburst of violence would be quickly silenced, and we couldn't afford to lose potential votes to that. The feast was built around the premise of killing people through logical deduction, and letting that foundation crumble was not an option. Otherwise, we'd quickly be overwhelmed by madness and blind murderous rage. The only ones who'd benefit from that would be the wolves who had the upper hand in information.
詰まりそうだから、何かお出ししましょうね。甘いものでも。
It's quite uncomfortable here, so let me treat you. Something sweet, perhaps? She presented us with something and I had no idea what. What's this? Anko? Nope. My bowl had something gray and paste-like in it. It was steaming too. Oh, it's taco. Everyone was overjoyed and began digging into the paste with their chopsticks, so I had no reason not to do it too. It looked like anko and was about as soft. I brought my face closer, and it actually had a good smell, like cubic rice crackers. The steam made it obvious, but it was pretty hot. Sweet too, above all else though, it smelled good. It reminded me of barley or rice, grain basically, tea. It just happened to be sweet.
はったい粉だわ。大麦の粉を打ってお湯で練ったのね。
It's hataiko, parched barley, flour stirred in hot
よそでは
water.
そう言うんですか。
Is that what it's called outside?
まあ、地方によっていろいろ呼び名はあるけどね。戦前までは広く食べられてたし、今でもスーパーで売ってることあるわよ。
Well, it has several names depending on the region. It was really popular before the war, and you can still get it at some supermarkets.
ここは昔から麦を作って粉にして食べてたってたえ。
Yes, the locals have been making barley flour and eating it for a long time now. That's what
教わったのよ。
someone told me. No one commented on her correcting herself.
タッコという呼び方は聞いたこともないわね。はったい粉がなまったのかしら。
I've never heard of taco, though. Perhaps it's a mutation of Ataiko. Even in this situation, Mamiya-san was acting professionally. Though everyone lightened up and made room for some idle talk, no one brought about anything about the fact about the feast. No one was in the mood for it either. However, I was sure that just about everyone here had thought the same thing, that Hisako Mamiya was a wolf. She was a bad liar. From what I'd seen during the previous loop, Haru-chan was the same way. However, since she was a bit of an eccentric, no one would notice if she acted a bit unnatural. Mamiya-san, however, was clearly the cool and intelligent type, so the sudden change in her behavior immediately stood out. Hold on, guys, my phone's done charging, so I want to take care of it. I'll be back. It won't take me too long, so I'm not going to change scene. Alright. There we go. Let's see. It didn't seem like it had anything to do with the burden she had as a snake or fear of the nightly attacks. If she had nothing to hide, she would calmly defend her actions and do something to help her survive the night. The first impression was a very important thing. She was lying. Everyone thought that, not just me. I wasn't able to get them to accept the Badger's existence as fact, so they all should have assumed she was a wolf. On top of that, I was thinking about what she'd do and what I'd do with her tomorrow. Enjoying the simple sweetness, I continued to think all by myself. Time passed, we weren't too hungry, but we had dinner, rice gruel at 5 p.m., then split up. Takumi-san had yet to return.
てめえは、もう帰れよ。
Go back already.
手伝ってくれるのは助かるけど、一応これ僕の仕事なんだよね。
I appreciate the help, but this is my
てめえ
job.
は、もう、帰れよ。
Just go back. Crap, the bluff from yesterday was too strong. I had absolutely no intention of laying a hand on a widow with teenage sons. But Yoshisugu-kun was acting like a real knight protecting a princess.
この子もこう言ってるから。昨日からよくやってくれているし、今日は早めに休んでちょうだい。
Well, he's insisting and you've been a great help so far. Why not go and rest
そ
early?
れではお言葉に甘えて。
I will do just that then.
転んで田んぼに落っこちやがれ。
Hope you fall in a fucking field.
あんたはまた何を失礼なことを。
Watch your language.
それではまた。
Ah ha ha ha. See you tomorrow.
また明日。
Yes, you
じ
too.
ゃあな。
See ya. See ya, huh? That made it seem like he didn't see me as a complete enemy. I had no idea what he was thinking. What had they talked about back there? I was a bit curious. I'd probably have to ask Yasunaga-kun to find out. As I walked to my hut through the dark mist, I ran into the students.
あ、ハッサンだ。今日は早いぞ。
Hassan, and you're early
早
today.
く済ませて帰ろうよ。
Do what you have to and let's go back.
すみません。待たせてもらってました。
We were waiting for you. Hope it's not a
何の
bother.
用かな。
What do you need? I couldn't sense anyone else hiding in this dense mist, but that didn't mean there was no one there. Also, the only one out of these three I could trust was Yasunaga-kun. I hoped he wasn't about to reveal something dangerous.
一言、お礼を言いたかったんです。
I wanted to thank
お
you.
礼
Thank?
ええ。 昨日義継を止めてくださったんでしょ？さっき本人から聞きました。
Yes, you stopped Yoshisugu yesterday, didn't you? He told us.
ははは、何のことかな、はははは。
Whatever do you mean?
まあ言い方についてはちょっと問題はあったと思いますが。
Though I can't say I approve of your methods.
あの言い分まで伝わったの？
He even mentioned that?
はあ。
Yes.
岩に頭ぶつけて死ねばいい？
Oh, can I go hit my head on that rock and die?
いや、いいですよ。あいつもそこまで言われて頭が冷えたって言ってましたし。
It's fine. He said it helped him cool off.
何言ったのよ、一体。
What's this about?
スケベの気配がするぞ。
This sounds lewd. Anyway, if he knew that much, I didn't have to hide it. Mochi held Haru-chan back while Yasunaga-kun and I continued
なんとい
talking.
うか申し訳ない。とっさに彼が逆上しそうなセリフを他に思いつかなかったんだ。
Sorry about that. I needed something to provoke him, and it was the only idea that came to
なる
mind.
ほど。
I see.
彼は一本気なのはいいけど、その立ち位置を決めかねてるんだろうね。宴の前も後も。
He's single-minded, which is good, but he doesn't seem to have a clear position in or outside the feast.
だからちゃんと考えて決めろって言いたかったんですけど、母さんが。
Yes, that's why I wanted to tell him to actually use his head, but
何かお
Mom,
っしゃったのかい？
what did she say?
まあ、縁起でもない、つまらないことを言ったんですけどね。
Just something ominous and
頭を
bold.
冷やす効果はあったかな。
Just something ominous and boring, but that also helped Yoshisugu cool off. It didn't seem like he'd get any more detailed.
とりあえず、あの時話してたのはそういう内容だと。
I see, so that's what you three were
そ
talking
ういうこ
about.
とです。疑わないでくださいね。
Yes, please don't suspect us.
そうよ。兄ちゃんが悪いことなんてするわけがないじゃない。むしろ
いえ
あなたの方が怪しいんだからね。
Yeah, Nichan would never do anything that bad. You're way shadier than him.
まあ、ハッサンから見たら、僕もハルちゃんも怪しいと思うよ。
Well, Hassan and probably thinks that Haru-chan and I are both
という
shady.
わけで、ここまでです。あと、すみません。力が
Anyway, that's it. Also, sorry for being so helpless. What a grim face. It was the same as the one he made when his efforts to prevent Tai-san and Mangya-san from being lynched targets turned out to be in vain.
とんでもない。大人なのに無力なのは僕の方だ。
Don't be, I'm the adult here, so that's my line.
まあ、今現在、無力でないのは、ハルちゃんのじっちゃんくらいだろう。仕方ないさ。霧の中じゃ、人は無力なんだ。
To be honest, at this point, only Haru-chan's grandpa has any real power. Don't blame yourselves. Everyone's powerless before the mist.
なんかまともっぽいこと言うね。
You said something normal
やっ
for
さんとハ
once.
ルちゃんの前だから自重だ。
I'm holding myself back because Yasun and Haru-chan are here. That made
じゃあ
sense.
戻りますけど、久石さんもお気をつけて。
We'll be going then. Be careful, Fusaishi-san.
あんた死んでたら骨は拾うぞ。
We'll bury you if you're dead tomorrow.
縁起でもない。
That's pretty morbid. I sent them off with a simple goodbye. But one of them refused to
ハル
leave.
ちゃん
Haru-chan?
もうやったとは。何
What did you mean by I already tried it? What? I wondered what she meant by that, but then
僕がもうやったから。
I already tried it. Did she mean the thing I told Yoshisugu-kun last
ハ
night?
ルちゃん、何のこと？
What are you talking about? Yasunaga-kun didn't know. Did Yoshisugu-kun not mention that part?
ああ。もしかして、はるちゃんは昨日近くで話を聞いてたのかな？
Were you listening in on us yesterday? That would explain everything. Rikako-san had done exactly that, and it wouldn't have surprised me if Haru-chan had done the same.
昨日は 3人でとっとと戻ったよ。その後、一人でなんか聞きに行ったの？
The three of us went back early, though. Did you go ask him something later? They had no idea what she was talking about. Mochi's words supported my assumption. There was no response. This talk wasn't that big of a deal, but the silence made it feel needlessly tense.
はるちゃん
Haru-chan, did my voice contain a little too much irritation? I regretted speaking up. But then all of that was blown away.
そうか。落ちてきたか。
What the?
幾度かやり直しておるな。
I see, so you rose. You have tried again several times, have you not? And there's that weird atmosphere about her. For a moment, it felt like her mouth displayed a frighteningly maniacal grin.
はるちゃん
Haru-chan. The next moment, her expression returned to the usual sullen face.
どうかした？
Oh, what's wrong?
戻ります。行こう、二人とも。
Let's go back, you two.
うん。
Okay.
待ってくれ今のは一体
Hold on, what was that? Hassan. The one who stopped me from going after the other two is Mochi.
これはね、僕らだけの秘密だ。多分、宴とは全然関係ない話だから、気にしないで寝るといい。
This is our secret, no one else is, and it probably doesn't have anything to do with the feast. Ignore it and go to
どういう
sleep.
こと今のはるちゃんの様子が
What are you talking about? Haru-chan's weird state just
そう
now?
だ。
Yep.
昨日もはるちゃんは宴の最中におかしくなったよね
She also went all weird in the middle of the feast, didn't she? Yeah, that happened when Rikako-san used the word
そ
God.
れ以上は、立ち入り禁止。
You shall go no
じゃ
further.
あね、ハッサン。
See
今夜
ya,
も頑
Hass.
張ってね。
See ya, Hassan. Do your best tonight. He also left with a bombshell. Do your best tonight could only mean that he knew I had a guardian. Who was I supposed to trust? Or rather, who was sane here?
複雑回帰でございます。
How complicated and mysterious.
あなたも大概複雑回帰かと
Are you talking about yourself?
ひどい。
Wow, how mean. That was my line. I almost screamed when she popped
なん
out.
でいるんですか
What's up with you?
昨日のことがあったので、心配に。物意味が遅れては。
I remembered what happened yesterday, which had me worried. It would not be good if you found shelter too late.
しかし、牧島春様は
Also,
治っておられなかったのですね。
it appears that Haru Makishima-sama has not healed yet.
まだ治ってない
Healed?
はい。かつて牧島春様は、ご両親が亡くなられた頃、
Yes,
心
when
がお
Haru
病みになったことがおありで、
Makishima-sama lost her parents, she was left with a mental
狼
illness.
様に疲れたなどというものも、出てまいる始末でした。
Some went as far as to say that she was possessed by the Akami-sama.
狼つき狐に疲れるとかは聞いたことがありますがとはいえなくもなさそうですね
Possessed by a wolf? I've heard of possession by fox, but that's new to me. Doesn't seem unlikely, though.
狼様は、人に取り付けません。
Okami-sama, do not possess humans.
そういう感覚なんです僕にはちょっとよくわかりませんが
Is that how it is? I'm not sure I understand.
どう言いましょう。そうそうあっては、困るのです。
How do I put this? It is something that would be troublesome if it could happen easily.
狼様や、他のお守りは、
神に準ずる存在です。
The Okami-sama and the other,
狼様であっても、
the Okami-sama and the
そ
other
の額は
god,
同様に大きい。
the Okami-sama and the other guardians are godlike entities. Even the Yomotsu Okami-sama rank highly on that front.
偉大なる神を下ろすのは、相応の儀礼にのっとるべきで、
To summon a god,
勝手に
to summon a god of that,
ものではないと。
to summon a god of that caliber, you must prepare an appropriate ritual. Possession by wolf is not something that can happen so easily. That was a decent explanation. I could understand that it would be weird for our famous gods to just possess
じゃ
someone.
あそれこそ狐や狸の仕業とか？
So, was this the work of a fox or a tanuki?
神内明神に仕えている私たちは、
We,
ゴリ
ser-
病の類から
we serve great
守
Lord
られ
Shinnai.
ていなければ、おかしいのです。
We serve great Lord Shinhai, so we should be warded from those kinds of
で
creatures.
も狼様は人と他の眷属の裏切りで殺されてしまって隙ができてしまってるんじゃ。
But didn't the wolves get betrayed and killed by humans and other guardians? Maybe that left an opening.
それは、結局のところ、
That is something that
わ
we
からない
still
のです。
that is something that we still do not
という
know.
と
What do you mean?
実のところ、狼様が死んでいると伝えているのは、安水だけですし、
The Yasumizu is is actually the only place where it said that the Okami-sama are dead. That's an interesting thing that she said that, even though their song mentions everything like the wolves and that, their folklore and everything.
上藤吉の長者家には、安水のものの方が、
In
世の
Kami,
中に組していると、
in Kami
そう
Fujiyoshi,
伝える話すらございます。
in Kami Fujiyoshi and families, it is even said that it is the Yasumizu inhabitants who are the Yomobito.
それはそうなんですか？
Is that true?
はい。安水の方には、ご
Huh?
内密に
Huh?
し
Yeah.
ていただけますと。
Yes, could you keep it a secret from the villagers?
それは聞いたらどうなるんですか？
What would happen if I told
それ
them?
は、普通に、気分を害されるかと。
They would be quite upset, surely. Yeah, of course they would. It wouldn't make sense for them to become murderers just because they heard something like that.
昔、ずーっと昔に、私が娘だった頃に、上藤吉の門が山祭りで酔って言うとったのよ。
A long, long time ago, when I was still a girl, Kami Fujiyoshi's people got drunk
読み意味の宴についての本当のお話をね。
and revealed the truth behind the Feast of the Only Purge. Yeah, Tai-san herself said it last time. Just knowing the real story wasn't enough. That knowledge alone didn't motivate the wolves and Badger to kill. Back then, Chiemi was probably just dealing with her own problems. I badly misunderstood her situation. It really did seem like the wolves had a change of heart due to more than simply words. This was good. I can now see a bit more of the overall picture.
春秋様。春秋様。
Haruaki-sama, Haruaki-sama.
すみません。何でしょうか？
Oh, sorry, what is it?
怖い顔をなさっているから、
You're making a scary face.
まずいことを申したでしょうか。
You're making a scary face. Did I say something
いえ
bad?
いえ、そんな。 すみません。はるちゃんの話でしたね。じゃあ、彼女は一体？
No, sorry, we were talking about Haru-chan, right? So what's up with her?
野里のお医者様は心の病だとおっしゃいました。
Nosato's doctor said she has a mental illness.
しかし上藤吉でも安水でも狼付きだというささやきは
However, in
絶えませんでした。
Kami Fujiyoshi, as well as here, people never stopped whispering that she was actually possessed by a
だ
wolf.
から上松家が汚れ払いを行いまして
That was why the Uematsu...
よくなられたのですが
That was why the Uematsu came to banish the corruption and she became better.
それは、家事祈祷のようなものですか？
Did you pray or chant something?
そのようなものです。
Well, something like that. That made sense. The four families ruled through the local faith, so cracks in their beliefs were serious trouble for them. I didn't quite relate to the idea that some beastly possessions couldn't happen. But since they brought in the Uematsu to deal with it, it could only mean they wanted to handle it from a religious standpoint. In a way, that was an admission that Haru-chan was an exception in their faith. The family heads had probably wanted to treat it as a problem that had nothing to do with the religion, but that hadn't worked out. Well, if they didn't allow healing, or with a change of the environment, this didn't seem all that unusual. There were stories of beastly possession all over Japan. Mamiya-san probably had tons of them in her head. It did freak me out a bit that it happened here of all places, but I felt like I had to consider it separate from all the other strange phenomena here.
ちなみに、読み人付きという話は出なかったんですか？
By the way, did you ever hear anything about possession by Yomabito?
それもまた奇妙です。読み
That would be strange as... That would be...
備えない
That would be strange as...
忌まわしき存在。
That would be strange as well. Yomabito are fearful creatures that have no human intelligence or
牧
virtue.
島春様のご様子はそれから少し違っていました。
Haru Makishima-sama did not seem to fit that description. That reminded me that last time Rikako-san had been declared a Yomabito and something went wrong with her mind. Haru-chan wasn't like her at all.
でも、他に思いつくものがないから、ヨモツオオカミが憑依したという話が生まれた、と？
And since no one could think of an explanation, they began thinking that she was possessed by the Utsu Okami, right?
上藤吉にも安水の伝承を
Yes, Kami
話と
Fujiyoshi.
しては知っているというものは
Yes.
そう少なくもなく
Yes, Kami Fujiyoshi had many people who knew of Yasumizu's
言われ
legend.
ても神は神かつあのような少々気味の悪いところから
They said that
神付きではないのかと
They said that, corrupted or not, a god was a god, and that since she was in such a hairy place, she might have been possessed by the
そ
wolf.
して、祈祷によって治った。
And the prayers healed her, huh?
はいしまいには軽い汚れによる
Yes.
ことであったと
Yes, in the
見
end.
なすこととなったのですが
Yes, in the end, it was considered to be merely minor trouble caused by the corruption. I didn't get it completely, but it didn't seem like a big deal and ended a while ago. But now it had come back.
これはね、僕らだけの秘密だ。 多分、宴とは全然関係ない話だから、気にしないで寝るといい。
This is our secret. No one else is in it. Probably doesn't have anything to do with the feast. Ignore it and go to sleep. This is our secret. No one else's.
子供たちは、マキシマハル様の症状について、
Perhaps the children know some.
あるのでしょうか。
Perhaps the children know something of Haru Makishima's Kishimas-sama's
聞いて
illness.
も教えてはくれなさそうですね。
I doubt they'd say anything though. If Mochi wasn't lying, then this had nothing to do with the feast, and that that was what I thought too. This was a Fujiyoshi problem completely independent of the feast. However,
そうか。落ちてきたか。
I see.
幾度かやり直しておるな。
I see, so you rose. You have tried again several times, have you not?
落ちというのはどういう意味なんでしょうか。今日の宴でもその言葉を聞いた気がします。
What did she mean by rose? I think I heard something like that during today's feast too.
落ちとは、戻ってくる。どこ
To,
国
to
から
rise,
戻ってくるのに。です
to rise.
落ちは、それがあること。
To rise is to come back, especially from the land of Yomi. Rose is its past
じゃ
tense.
あ、落ちなかれとは生き返るなと。
Then rise not means don't come back from the dead. Rikako-san nodded. Well, that made sense. Yasumizu considered returning from Yomi to be ominous, so it served as a farewell to the dead here.
そうか。落ちてきたか。
I see,
幾度かやり直しておるな。
so you wrote. I see you have tried again several times, have you not? I see, so you came back from the dead. You have tried again several times, have you not? How? How did she know that? I was being subjected to some weird death loop, and I was the only one aware of it. This was the one thing that I couldn't justify in a purely logical manner. Had she noticed it when she was supposedly possessed? Was I just overthinking it? Maybe she's been referring to something else, or was simply spouting random nonsense. Was it possible that something supernatural really had possessed her, and it could tell what situation I was in? I didn't want to believe that, but I would keep it in mind as a possibility. I'm not too sure about you guys, but I feel like this part was just like padding and everything. Like, yeah, it makes things much more interesting in that, but I don't see how it adds anything yet. And that's my big complaint here. However, not even Rikako-san seemed to know anything about this supernatural entity. Was it completely unrelated to my situation, the feast, and Fujiyoshi's legends? I couldn't afford to overthink things. However, for all I knew, Haru-chan could be the key to unraveling this strange situation. I'd have to keep that in mind. I'd gotten lost in thought again, but this time Rikako-san just silently waited until I was done. She too was wearing a profound expression, hanging her head and lost in thought.
私たちは、無知猛昧な山の民です。
We are ignorant mountain.
こうして、
We are ignorant mountain. We are ignorant mountain people. Wisdom was buried and now we are dancing a pathetic
こんな
dance.
状況なら誰だってそうですよ。
anyone would be like that in this situation.
春明様はそれ以上は踏み込んでこられないのですね。
Haruaki-sama, I see you will not go any further.
それはどういう意味です？前も言いましたが、残念ながら僕には特別な能力などありませんよ。
What do you mean? Like I said before, I don't have any special
特
powers.
別な境遇もありませんか？あるいは特別な過去。
What about special circumstances or special past?
いえ、何でも。
No. No, it does not matter.
私は春明様を
I
特別
merely,
な方だと。
I merely want to believe that you are special, Haruaki-sama.
きっかけはわかりません。その日、墓越しに春明様を一目見たその時から。
I do not know what started it, but after seeing you through the shadow of the leaves that day,
私は夫妻子春明様のことばかりを
I have been thinking of nothing else but you.
置き場に頭を打ちつけた私を助けていただいたから、名前を呼んでいただいたから。
It could be because you helped me when I hurt my head on Yokiba, or because you called me by name.
理由は考えました。
I looked for reason.
わかりません。
I looked for reasons, but I'm
理由などないのでしょう。
still not certain. Perhaps none
お
exists.
慕いしております。夫妻子春明様。
I cherish you, Haruaki Fusaishi-sama. So I made her say
ミ
it.
カコさん、
Kaku-san.
のです。おっしゃられずとも、私はそのようなことを
It is
そうい
fine.
うようなものでは。
It is fine. No need to say it. I am not the type of person who could hope for something like that.
それでもお伝えしたのは
I
お
only
伝え
s-
したいことがあったから
I only said it because I had something else to say,
なんでしょう。
which would
逃
be,
げてください。
please flee this place.
逃げられないでしょ。
I can't, can I? I knew that well. I believed that I could escape last time and ended up failing to protect anyone.
僕にもわかりますよ。皆さんがこの霧を恐れる理由が、
I understand why everyone is so afraid of this
きっ
mist.
とこの霧からは逃れられない。宴を終わらせなければ霧は晴れない。
It's because you can't escape it and it will remain until the feast comes to an end.
だから僕は
That's
言わ
why,
ないでください。
please don't say it.
私はあなた様から
I am
感謝だ
not,
とか
I'm not doing this
と
because
してのお慰みとか
I'm not
そん
doing
なものが
this.
欲しいからするのではなく、
I'm not doing this because I want your gratitude or
ロ
comfort.
ードのお帰りを見送るノアのはしたままの杖として、そしてあなた様を慕う
I'm doing this as
女として、
I'm doing this as the descendant of the bedroom woman's servants who must see their guests on their way back, and as a woman who treasures
春
you.
明様には無事に
I truly want you to survive. I truly
そう
want
思
you.
うからです。
I truly want you to survive
あな
this.
た様にはここで死ぬ義理は本当はないはずです。
You have no reason to die in a place like this. I'm sure you
帰る場所は他にある。
you have no reason to die in a place like this. I'm sure you have a place you must return to.
たとえ嘘があっても借りがあっても、この山があなた様に求める犠牲には
Do not worry, even if you have lied or become indebted. indebted, it is nothing compared to the sacrifice the mountain asks of you. So,
私が
I will help you escape. I will help you escape. What? That actually sounded like she knew of a way to escape this place. I wanted to ask about it. I had to even. Despite feeling that way,
言わないで
though,
ください。
please don't say it. I refused, and I knew full well what that meant for her.
命がないと
Even though you are as good as deceased,
命がないんですか？
am I now?
ただこんなことを続けていれば
No, but it will surely.
きっと
No, but it will surely happen if you continue this.
リカコさん、
Mikako-san,
他に後ろ暗い隠し事はありませんか？
do you have any other dark secrets? Huh? She stared at me in bewilderment.
あなたは自分の思いや自分自身を投げ打てばきっと誰かを逃がすことはできるということを最初から知っていた。
You always knew that you could help someone run away if you discarded yourself and your feelings.
だけどそれを行使するかどうか迷っていたのでしょう。
However, you didn't know if you could go through with that, right?
植松家としての義務を放棄して誰か一人を逃がすか、それとも最後まで休みずに残って植松家として振る舞うか。
You didn't know if you should throw away your duty as Nuimatsu and save someone or stay in Yasumizu until the end and keep being a
迷
Nuimatsu.
った後、あなたなりに理論武装をして僕を逃がすことが立場的に正しく、なおかつ自分の望みであると定義した。
After a lot of inner conflict, you decided that letting me escape was the right thing to do, and that you wanted it too.
僕が無事でありさえすれば、あなたがどうなっても構わないと僕に納得させるためにね。
You wanted to make me believe that it doesn't matter what happens to you as long as I'm alright.
気に食わないんですよね。
I don't like that. Man, this was fun.
僕はルールは自分で決めたいんですよ。
I'm gonna play this by my own rules. It was fun and she was just lovable.
そのすみま
Sorry.
というわけでルールの変更を所望します。
That's why I want to change the
そう
rules.
だな。こんなのでどうかな。
How about this? Huh?
もしあなたが他にもうこんな不愉快な秘密を溜め込まないでいいというならば、久石春明は植松里香子を信じます。
If you cut it out with the unpleasant secrets, the man called Haruaki Fusaishi will trust Rikako Uematsu. Seriously
そして
lovable.
僕は植松里香子のために、あなたは久石春明のために生き残る。
I will survive for Rikako Uematsu's sake while you survive for Haruaki Fusaishi's sake. Really? Where is this coming from? Guys don't really have a smooth conversation a lot of the time, even though you are talking a lot. I just don't get it.
それで、もし生き残ったら、
And if we both
あ
survive,
なたは久石春明に、僕は植松里香子に、何でも好きなことを望んでよい。
you can ask Haruaki Fusaishi for whatever you want, and I can do the same with Rikako Uematsu.
そんな賭けをしませんか？
Willing to gamble on that?
ほら、こっちの方がずっと楽しそうじゃないですか。
Sounds way more fun, don't you think? Rikako-san was trembling. Her face was all red, her eyes were full of tears, and her shoulders were shivering.
私が愚かなので
This,
しているかも
this might be a foolish misunderstanding of
そ
mine.
れはつまりその
But do you mean that, I wasn't rude enough to force her to say it? Instead of waiting, I just embraced her.
捨てて逃げることで、あなたみたいな美味しそうな人を逃す真似はしませんよ。もったいない。
I'm not gonna abandon you and run away. That'd mean letting go of such a tasty-looking woman. It'd be one hell of a waste. I don't like the way you said that, Haruaki.
だから、あなたもしっかり。
So please survive.
さあ、
Well,
賭けに乗りますか？
are you taking the bet? I felt her heated breath on me. It seemed to penetrate my shirt. No, no. You must no, no. You must flee. Ah.
かわいいですね、リカコさん。
You are adorable. So much that I wanted to take her right then and there.
でも、この先は後の楽しみにとっておこうかな。
But the rest will have to wait for later. No, now.
やっぱり、賭けに勝った時に、リカコさんに望んでもらうことにしましょう。
I'll have you ask that again when the bet's won.
リカコさん。
That alright with you, Rikako-san? I tightened my embrace a little. Eventually she nodded, sealing the wager.
おやすみ。
Good night.
ええ。おやすみなさい。
You too, good night. It's a battle, I shout. No, it's a battle, I shouted, and she responded with a "Wah!" The flirting continued for a bit, and then we parted ways. Alright. With that out of the way, I had to make sure she kept up her side of things with... I had to make sure she kept up her side of things this time. That was very, very much uncomfortable, the flirting there. Like, it probably makes sense story-wise, but, man, I just didn't like it. Now, who to choose today? The situation was completely unlike yesterday. Takumi-san was in an even more critical position than before. It reminded me of Kaori-san's situation from last time. If he went out of control, the only one who could stop him was probably Kanzo-san, but even then someone could die. Kinosuke Shi was, as Mochi pointed out in the feast, a convenient dumping ground for votes. Knowing Kanzo-san's influence, Mamiya-san would definitely become a candidate for hanging. In fact, it was more or less obvious that she was an enemy by now. On the other hand, we had people in important positions in completely different ways than yesterday. Mochi had good intuition and used it on me a lot. And Haru-chan, she had little to do with the feast, but she might have had a hint or two regarding my looping phenomenon. Investigating her would be completely personal, but I'd already let Tai-san die because of my selfishness, so that wouldn't be special. It's pretty messed up, clearly, but so was the situation where a selfless act could prove fatal. Besides them, Kaori-san, the old wolf guy, and Yoshisugu-kun were still total blanks. Whether Kaori-san was a wolf or human, she'd be a real danger if her sons died. She wasn't a good target for the snake. Yoshisugu-kun had a tendency to go wild, but he had little influence over the feast. The old wolf guy was the same as always, an unpredictable vote. I wouldn't pick them this time. Come to think of it, could I investigate the same person I checked yesterday? It'd probably be pointless, but I was curious. Who did I have to go for? Okay. So, we know he's innocent. He is too. We know she's a wolf. So we have to go for these two down here. So let's go Chikamochi. I wrote down the name, left it near my pillow, and went to sleep. Wolf. Ooh, we found 2 of them already, huh? Obtained Truth of the Genius. You can view it in the keylet. As the route unlocked by this key is represented by the same number on the scenario chart. Alright. Not too sure how much time I'm gonna have, so I'm gonna try the other option too before things get too far into the story. So, we do that there. We're at investigation 2. Okay, so there we are at Wit. Okay, so we've got investigation 2. Who did I have to go for? So we now know 2 of the wolves. So let's go here, Haru. I wrote down the name, left it near my pillow, and went to sleep. Human. Alright, so we know 2 of 3 wolves now. Obtained key 14. Truth of the girl. You can view it in the keys list. The route unlocked with this key is represented by the same number on the scenario chart. Alright. So let's take a look at the key chart just to make sure of everything. So we won't get 1 for a while. Got 3 to deal with. 8 we know nothing about. 9 either. So it looks like we've got every key that we can up until now. Alright. So we'll continue on through here. I woke up to yet another day and got the info I wanted as the snake. You could say the wolves had let me live. Could I trust that Yasunaga-kun and Mochi were the only ones who suspected me? I could contribute to the human survival by hiding my identity as the snake and gathering information about the others. However, that had me worried. Would everyone believe the snake who'd survived by hiding his identity and revealing himself late into the game? I was particularly worried about Kanzo-san. He hadn't said anything completely wrong so far, but there was a tendency for anyone he cast suspicion on to be dogpiled by the others. That seemed intentional on his part, but it seemed like a mistake to me. Yasunaga-kun's attempts at resistance hadn't gone well so far. He didn't have many cards to play yet. Perhaps he believed that I could be one of those cards. Would I be able to act today? Weighing my options, I opened the door and saw Takumi-san. Gah. My surprised gasp quickly became a cry of pain. Knocked backwards, I was thrown back into the hut. Sitting on the floor, I looked up at him. He wasn't saying a thing. His expressionless stern in his eyes seemed to be boiling with hatred. In his left hand, he held a hoe. Even that seemed like a lethal weapon when held by a man with such a threatening visage. He was out of control and I was clearly in danger. He still wasn't saying anything, not because of hesitation, but because he was waiting for my reaction. You would decide what to do based on what I did.
何の用ですか？
Why are you here? Still on the floor, I asked him
今
that.
朝は2人死んだ。
Two died today. His response wasn't an answer to my question, but it was an important thing nonetheless. We had a death that broke the rule of 1 per day, 1 per night, something commonplace during the previous loop. It happened again.
一体
Who? I was more or less certain that one of them was Yoshisugu Oribe. The boy went wild during the first night last time, and he tried the same thing this time, so I assumed that another night was all he needed to gather the resolve to go wolf hunting. Instead of answering, though, Takumi-san just took a step forward and closed the door behind him. He crouched down and looked me in the eyes, but even from that position, he loomed over me.
お前、昨日、俺を守るためとか言って俺に投票しただろう。
You said you voted for me to protect me yesterday. His voice was quiet, but I heard barely concealed rage in it.
それの意味を、俺にもわかるように説明してくれねえかな。
Explain that to me in a way even I can understand. He then rested his right hand on the hoe. I couldn't read his true intentions. However, he was definitely in charge here, and a wrong answer would be punished harshly. This would be a tough
やっぱり
one.
こうなりましたか。
I knew this would happen. Huh? I had to consider what was on his mind. He was probably planning to beat me up no matter how I responded. However, he did seem to leave some space for consideration in case I gave him a good answer. I was now being tested. In this situation, he'd only understand if I provided him with something unexpected. If I could do that, I could get him to agree with me. I had already planned a response to this. It was both well-rounded and difficult to pull
あな
off.
たは昨日、自らの考え方を大きく変える分岐点に立った。
Yesterday, you were at a crossroads.
安水住人は安水住人を殺さない。世代を超えた安水の結束を重視するあなたは、その考えを持ち続けていた。
You always believed that Yasumizu was unified and that no one here would kill anyone else.
各世代、各人の言い分を重視するあまり、あなたは確たる方向性を持てずにいた。
However, since you also valued their words regardless of which generation they were from, you were unable to commit to a course of action. I paused for a second. Go on. He prodded me with the hoe. It didn't hurt, but it seemed antagonistic. However, he was still giving me a chance to talk.
年配の、特に山脇大さんの言い分を取るなら、読み耳の宴という怪奇事件の支配性は絶対で、死者は必ず出る。
The elders, especially Yamawaki-san, believed that the feast was a paranormal phenomenon with absolute power over all within and that death was
彼女の
unavoidable.
語った伝説は、安水という集落が藤吉村の中で孤立した原因でもあるが、同時にアイデンティティでもある。
See, the legend she recounted to us is the reason why Yasumizu became isolated even here in Fujiyoshi, but it was also part of its
わかり
identity.
やすく言う。
Make it simple.
狼殺しと復讐の物語のせいで、安水には、黄泉への防壁という理不尽な役割が与えられた。
Because of the story about killing the wolves in revenge, Yasumizu was given the unfair role of being the defense against
しかし
Naomi.
安水に住むことを受け入れ、前向きにそれを捉えるならば、物語はむしろ誇りになる。
However, if you accepted life here and looked at it from an optimistic standpoint, the story was actually something to be proud of.
安水を重視するあなたは、伝承のバカバカしさを指摘しつつも、それを本心では軽視しきれない。
That was why, despite saying that the stories were nonsense, you couldn't just brush them off. You seem to understand me so far.
あなたは自分の頭で断りを考えて、何がありそうで 何がなさそうか考えることには。
On the other hand, you are better at using your head and thinking logically than most others here, so you are better at telling truth from lie.
都会帰りのちえみちゃんや頭脳明晰な安永くんの理性的かつ現代的な考え方というものも理解できる。
That was why you could relate to Chiemi-chan's and Yasunaga-kun's more modern logical ways of thinking. One had lived in the city while the other had a keen
ただ
mind.
し、彼らの中でも考えは分かれる。冷静に考えて殺人などするわけない。冷静に考えて殺人を避けられるわけない。
However, they themselves looked at the situation differently, while one calmly thought that you couldn't just go off and murder, the other calmly thought that you can't avoid murder.
それら全てに共感している。だからその中間を取りたいと思うが、それじゃ前にも後ろにも進めない。
You relate to them all. That was why you wanted to take the middle road, but that would make it impossible for you to move forward or back.
安水のリーダーとして、世代の仲介役として、向けられている期待に応えられない。
As the leader of Yasumizu and the mediator between the generations, you had to live up to their
そこで
expectations.
あなたが取ったのが、安水に対する敵を想定して、優先的に攻撃するという方策だ。
That was why you decided to assume who were the enemies of Yasumizu and prioritize attacking
幸
them.
いにして、敵の候補は複数いた。
Fortunately for you, you had a few
その
options.
筆頭が、不吉な存在である名子、安水の敵対者である四長者のリカ子さん、そして素性不明の僕だ。
One of them was the mystery girl Mako. Another was Rikako-san. She was a village head and they had a history of prejudice against Yasumizu. And then there was me, the guy with the unknown background.
素性が明らかながら、よそ者の間宮さんや、長者でありながら、次男坊で何も知らなそうな野里さんを設定して、
After that, there was Mamiya-san. Her identity was clear, but she was still an outsider. And lastly, Nosato-san, the village head, who didn't seem to know anything because he was a second child.
ご自分と関係の深い山脇さんや織部香織さんは優先度を最低に設定している。
Of course, Yamawaki-san and Kaori Oribe-san, both of whom you are close to, were lowest on this
あなたは
list.
要するに、この優先度に従って順番に攻撃しようというだけだ。共感する人間を攻撃しないために。
You simply wanted to attack them based on this order, because you wanted to avoid hurting those you're sympathetic to.
それが断りに沿ってないとは言いませんよ。隣人が殺人鬼に表変したというより、外敵侵入の方がありそうだ。
I wouldn't call it unreasonable. It's natural to believe that the invaders are the enemies rather than your neighbors became murderers.
昨日の朝まではあなたはその主張を続けていられた。前の晩に誰も死にませんでしたからね。
You were able to carry on this way of thinking until yesterday morning. No one died that night after
しかし
all.
昼に、それは根底から崩れた。安水の住人が、よそ者より優先して、安水の重鎮である山脇さんを殺したから。
Alright, we're kind of close on time, so we're gonna see how long this conversation takes. Regardless of it's a scene change or a choice, I think I'm gonna call it at that point. But that depends on how long that this is gonna be. Let's see. However, that all crumbled at noon when Yasumizu's people prioritized killing a local mainstay over an
あ
outsider.
なたは一人閉じこもった。早急に、自分の行動指針を立て直す必要があったから。
That's why you locked yourself up. You needed time to rethink your
そこで
strategy.
あなたは考えたはず。どうやって新たな敵を設定するか。山脇大さんの仇をどう判別するか。
You considered how to rework your list of enemies and how to determine Taiyama Waki's son's murderer. My words were cut off when he threw away the hoe and grabbed me by my collar. That's not true. Being shaken by his powerful fists made it hard to breathe, but it wasn't violence just yet.
本当に違うと思っているなら、手を出さずに反論すればいい。あなたは本来、そういう人のはずだ。
If it really isn't, you can argue with words instead of threats. That's how you usually are, right?
あなたは敵を作ることにした。
However, you decided to create enemies for yourself.
出る答えなんて一つです。タイさんを殺した連中を敵にする。そして、仇とみなして攻撃する。
That left you with only one option. Oppose the ones who killed Tai-san and avenge her by attacking them. No!
違わないね。いくらカゴ者を名乗っても、間宮さんの態度が怪しいことは明白だ。なのにくくられたのはタイさんだった。
Yes, though she claimed to have a guardian, it was clear that Mamiya-san's attitude was weird, and yet the one who was hanged was
だ
Tai-san.
から狼全員がタイさんに投票して票を寄せたに違いない。狼はタイさんへの投票者の中にいるはずだ。
That was why you thought the wolves must have banded up and voted for Tai-san. They had to be lurking among those who voted her into her
そ
death.
う考えたはずだ。そして、僕はこう考えた。
I'm sure that's what you thought, and in turn I thought
この
this.
時点で、あなたはタイさんを救えなかった罪悪感から、自己犠牲的かつ捨て身の行動に出かねない。
At this point, the guilt from not saving her would get to you, and you would go berserk without any regard for yourself.
容疑者を皆殺しにするとかね。
Perhaps to the point of killing all the suspects, even if it meant getting the corruption.
では僕はどうすべきか。僕は考えた。もし僕が山脇さんに投票していれば、僕は一気に敵中の敵だ。
That's why I thought about what I had to do. If I voted for Yamawaki-san, I would be your enemy number one.
メイコは幼い。リカコさんは山脇さんに投票こそしたが、山脇さんはそれを受け入れてしまった。僕は何
Meiko was young, and while Rikaka-san voted for Yamawaki-san, she accepted that. Me, though, I have
あな
nothing.
たが暴走して殺しに来るとすれば、僕が一番先だ。だから僕は山脇さんに投票することはできなかった。
If you went berserk and started killing, I would be the first one on your list. That was why I couldn't vote for her.
それが理由だとでも言う気か。てめえにはもう一つ選択肢があっただろうが。
That's your reason. You had another choice, damn it. He was right. Though Tai-san had already had more votes, I saw the difference clearly and could use my vote to take it to the final
それ
vote.
でも、間宮久子に投票することはできなかった。
Even so, I couldn't vote for Hisako Mamiya.
なぜだ。てめえもあいつを疑ってるんだろうが。なのに。
Why, you suspected her too, didn't you? And now? What was I to do here? There was no guarantee that no one was listening. It was probably best to assume that someone was. Even if there wasn't, and was it a good idea to tell him about my guardian? I didn't have much time to think about this. Takumi grabbed the hoe again. Alright. So like I said here, I am going to save here and call it a day. Especially because I'm expecting company. I thank you all for coming. If you're watching this over on YouTube and you liked it, be sure to leave a like and share this with anybody else that you think might enjoy this. And if you'd like the chance to chill with me again, be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell notification icon to hopefully be notified of when I'll be live again. As for when I'll be live again, things are a bit weird right now. But at the same time, kind of about the usuals. I've got plans tomorrow. So I will think it might be Monday that I'll stream again, but be sure to check the posts tab on my YouTube channel about that, because that's where I keep everyone up to date. And if you're watching this on Twitch, y'all know what to do. Let me check on somebody to raid. Okay, we're gonna be raiding Adrakaja, who's doing Genshin Impact. I think she's just doing exploration, but she's pretty cool. Her community's chill. And we do need something chill right now. So we're gonna do that. Alright, looks like it's working. Give her my regards and tell her I'll be there when I can. With that out of the way, I thank you all again for coming. Bye.